Chapter 501, Return to the Fortress merits soar. Another short demon suppression guard, short in stature, overheard their conversation and joined in.
How is that impossible? With Commander Shen's talent, condensing even 2 Dharma manifestations is no small feat. And I heard he didn't condense 2 but 3. With those 3 Dharma manifestations, he single-handedly slew the great demon Magus and Mai and Anwu, and even matched the first great demon Magus Ankang blow for blow.
At this, Li Haitan and Wu Zhanian both sucked in a breath. Good heavens, Shen Mo is that formidable, why didn't we know? They exchanged glances and both said,
Our information must be outdated.
They nodded in agreement. Whatever Shen Mo accomplished, they wouldn't be surprised. If he failed at anything, then that would be strange.
Look, he's here.
A guard pointed toward the Northwest Sea, shouting with excitement. Everyone turned to look and saw several battle platforms emerging on the water. They headed toward the various fortresses and 2 wave-cleaving battle platforms made for Qingxuan Fortress.
Returned at last, finally.
Li Haitan and Wu Zhanian were overjoyed. After years apart, they would at last see their leader.
Feels like a wife, awaiting her husband's return.
Wu Zhanian laughed self-deprecatingly. Li Haitan chuckled.
If I were a woman, I'd marry Commander Shen in a heartbeat.
The demon suppression guards around them burst into laughter.
Come off it, a man like Commander Shen has countless women vying for him. Li Haitan, even if you turned into a woman, you'd still be too dark-skinned. Don't get your hopes up. Right, I recall you said you like women with forked tongues.
Li Haitan turned betrayed, though his dark complexion concealed it. On the sea, Shen Mo stood atop a wave-cleaving battle platform, gazing at the looming Qingxuan Fortress. His heart stirred. He had guarded the 4th layer of the demon-suppressing sea for 5 years. Now he had returned. He wondered how Li Haitan, Wu Zhanian, and the armory's guards fared.
General Zhang. Commander Shen.
Before the platforms even docked, a wave of cheers erupted from the battlements. The demon suppression guards celebrated, welcoming their hero's triumphant return. News of Shen Mo's ascension to Dharma manifestation realm and his slaying of Anmai had long since reached Qingxuan Fortress. Within the fortress, everyone spoke excitedly of the battle months ago, their faces alight with joy. Thanks to that battle, the demons had fully retreated, abandoning both the 4th and 5th layers of the demon-suppressing sea. Now the fortress could push deeper into those waters to harvest more heavenly treasures and earthly rarities. Though the depths were perilous, many were willing to risk it for the long-lost treasures of the demon-suppressing sea. Perhaps they themselves would be the fortunate ones. That night, Qingxuan Fortress reveled in celebration. Even the guards on night watch were brought food and tea. Elsewhere, other fortresses enjoyed similar festivities. At Zhuge Fortress, the resurrection of demon suppression General Zhu Xuenji sent the mood soaring. Every guard there shouted her name in triumph. They finally had a general to rally behind and would no longer be looked down upon. Only at Tianjiang Fortress did sorrow linger, for their lord, Yi Yuan, had fallen in battle, casting a pall over the garrison. Back at Qingxuan Fortress in the armory within Shen Mo's quarters, he sat cross-legged on his bed, inspecting his demon suppression bracelet. The recent battle had been fierce. Although merit records flooded in, he hadn't had a chance to review them. Now, with leisure at last, he examined them carefully.
Slain the peak true demon, Venerable earned 3 grade B merits.
Shen Mo scrolled through the merit records one by one, reading with keen interest. After a moment his eyes brightened. He paused at 2 entries.
Slaying the heavily wounded 3rd great demon, and Mai awarded 59 grade A merits. Severing the great demon emperor's left hand awarded 40 grade A merits.
He continued.
Total merits, 105 grade A merits, 282 grade B merits, 3,500 grade C merits, plus numerous grade D merits.
Shen Mo clicked in admiration. No wonder a great demon yielded such bountiful merits, even wounded, and Mai granted many. Some merits were surely shared with the other demon suppression generals. Had I faced Mai at his peak alone, I'd have claimed every merit, perhaps over 100 grade A merits. He was also surprised by the high merits for severing the demon emperor's hand.
So many merits, I can really splurge in the Heaven Dao treasury.
Shen Mo reflected on his needs. 2. Heaven-tier supreme visualization diagrams. More infinity-nurturing sacred pills to strengthen his body. Rare treasures like the Millennium Azure Thunder Lotus and Earth Mother Crimson Resin. He smiled at the thought. In a few days, the Heaven Dao treasury would arrive and he would spend freely. When the treasury appeared, Shen Mo entered with his consciousness and immediately began redeeming. 4th, 5th, and 6th layers of the Void Demon-Slaying Sword Immortal Scripture. Millennium Azure Thunder Lotus. Earth Mother Crimson Resin. Star Spirit Stone. Heaven-tier Supreme Visualization Diagrams. Infinity Nurturing Sacred Pills. Every useful treasure and elixir was redeemed. He even spent merits to promote himself to Heaven-tier Demon Suppression Guard. After this spree, he was left with about 10 Grade A merits. To advance to Earth-tier General, he needed 20 more. But Shen Mo cared more about his ranking on the Earth list than a higher rank. He studied one final diagram.
Zai Ju visualization diagram focused on speed, perfect for both pursuit and retreat.
Chapter 502, Earth-tier Demon Suppression General, Heaven Dao Task. Time passed swiftly. 3 years later, Shen Mo strode through Qingxuan Fortress. Every demon suppression guard he passed saluted respectfully.
Greetings, General Shen.
Shen Mo smiled and nodded. Months ago, his merits were sufficient to advance from Heaven-tier Guard to Earth-tier Demon Suppression General. He now stood among famed generals like Zhang Longxiang and Tang Jinglong. All 10 fortresses sent congratulatory gifts. Qingxuan Fortress even held a grand banquet. At that feast, General Zhang Longxiang announced Shen Mo as the next fortress lord. Whenever Zhang was absent, Shen Mo could exercise full authority. No one objected. Every commander in Qingxuan Fortress voted unanimously. From that moment on, Shen Mo became the highest authority. To give him prominence, Zhang Longxiang stepped into the shadows. Today Shen Mo reached the tower's entrance. 2 guards recognized him and saluted. Ascending to the tower's summit, he saw Zhang Longxiang seated behind a long table, with Commander Zhang Beisheng standing at attention. Zhang Beisheng bowed deeply.
Greetings, General Shen.
Shen Mo waved him off.
Call me Shen Mo, we're friends.
Zhang Beisheng smiled, his eyes misty. In just a few years, this young man had leapt from Yellow-tier Guard to Earth-tier General, a speed unseen in the fortress's long history. Shen Mo asked,
How are things lately?
Zhang Longxiang returned his smile.
The demons have fully abandoned the 4th and 5th layers. Over these 3 years, we've harvested countless treasures.
Greetings, General Shen. Shen Mo smiled and nodded. Months ago, his merits were sufficient to advance from Heaven-tier Guard to Earth-tier Demon Suppression General. He now stood among famed generals like Zhang Longxiang and Tang Jinglong. All 10 fortresses sent congratulatory gifts. Qingxuan Fortress even held a grand banquet. At that feast, General Zhang Longxiang announced Shen Mo as the next fortress lord. Whenever Zhang was absent, Shen Mo could exercise full authority. No one objected. Every commander in Qingxuan Fortress voted unanimously. From that moment on, Shen Mo became the highest authority. To give him prominence, Zhang Longxiang stepped into the shadows. Today Shen Mo reached the tower's entrance. 2 guards recognized him and saluted. Ascending to the tower's summit, he saw Zhang Longxiang seated behind a long table, with Commander Zhang Beisheng standing at attention. Zhang Beisheng bowed deeply. Greetings, General Shen. Shen Mo waved him off. Call me Shen Mo, we're friends. Zhang Beisheng smiled, his eyes misty. In just a few years, this young man had leapt from Yellow-tier Guard to Earth-tier General, a speed unseen in the fortress's long history. Shen Mo asked, How are things lately? Zhang Longxiang returned his smile. The demons have fully abandoned the 4th and 5th layers. Over these 3 years, we've harvested countless treasures. Many of our guards have improved their cultivation. A few who'd been stuck for years suddenly broke through and gained centuries of lifespan. Zhang Beisheng laughed.
I've reached the peak true fate Dharma manifestation, again another few years for me.
Shen Mo nodded and asked.
What about the demons?
Zhang's expression darkened.
Their movements are strange. They avoid battle entirely. I suspect they're plotting some grand scheme, perhaps reviving another limb of the undying demon emperor, like they did with his left hand.
Shen Mo considered the unchanged reading on his destiny panel. The demon's current activity remained too small to disrupt his path. Given all he'd done refining demon hearts and the severed hand fragments with the 9 nether ice flame, his cultivation had reached minor success in the Dharma manifestation realm a year ago. Unlike others, Shen Mo possessed 4 Dharma manifestations: the primordial image manifestation, the undying river manifestation, the fiery heaven eye manifestation, and the fleeting white steed manifestation. Though only minor success, he could confidently confront even perfected Dharma manifestation cultivators. Only if the undying demon emperor resurrected enough of his limbs would his destiny truly shift. As the 3 prepared to continue, a sudden, majestic will descended upon them. Every demon suppression guard inside and out felt its presence. This will be familiar to all of you. It is the will of Heaven Dao. A vast, ancient voice echoed over every fortress. Within 15 years, each of the 10 demon suppression fortresses must establish at least 5 outposts on both the 5th and 6th layers of the demon suppressing sea. During this period, all redemption prices in the Heaven Dao treasury are reduced by 30%.
All guards who redeem items from the treasury during this period must serve in the demon-suppressing sea for at least 5 years. Those who refuse shall be erased.
The declaration rang 3 times without fade. Every guard stood in stunned silence. 15 years, 10 outposts. Impossible. Had the will of heaven gone mad? Zhang Beisheng frowned.
We struggled for 20 years just to build 5 outposts on the 4th layer. Now they demand 10 more in only 15 years.
Shen Mo considered carefully.
Establishing posts on the 5th layer isn't too difficult. They've already ceded it to us. It's the 6th layer that's the real challenge.
That's still the demon's stronghold. Building there will provoke fierce counterattacks and will suffer heavy casualties.
Zhang Longxiang sighed.
Heaven Dao tasks are always arduous, but we have no choice. Let's give it our all.
Shen Mo frowned. The tasks truly grew more daunting. What if a future decree proves utterly impossible? Would they send every guard to his death? Zhang Longxiang mulled it over.
Shen Mo, you stay and defend the fortress. I'll oversee and protect the outposts.
Shen Mo shook his head.
I understand your intent. You should rest. I'll handle the 5th layer.
Each fortress must build outposts on the 5th and 6th layers. You can be sure Yi Yan will go too. Such prime opportunities cannot be ignored. Zhang Longxiang laughed softly.
Very well, the 5th layer is relatively safe now. You take it. When we're ready for the 6th, I'll supervise.
Chapter 503, Commander Yi, quickly request help from General Shen. If you delay any longer, it'll be too late. Zhuge 51 Outpost. A cold and handsome young man walked down the main road of the outpost. Wherever he passed, every demon suppression guard saluted him. After he walked some distance away, a young demon suppression guard quietly asked in a low voice.
Hey, who was that? Why did you all salute him? He looks so young, about the same age as me.
Beside him, an older demon suppression guard shook his head.
You don't know him, you must be new here.
The young guard gave an embarrassed smile.
Yeah, I just transferred to the fortress from Zhu, 4 City 2 months ago. Haven't been in the fortress long, and here I am on the 5th level of the demon suppression sea.
The older guard lowered his voice.
That young man is Yi Yan. During the last great battle, he took on a Zenith True Demon Lord one-on-one and killed it. His record is impressive. General Zhu Xuanji values him highly. He's already been promoted to Deputy Commander.
The young guard sucked in a breath.
Deputy Commander, does he have the rank for it?
The older guard shook his head.
Deputy Commander used to require the rank of Earth-tier Demon Suppression Guard. That was before.
Now that General Zhu is back, who gets to be Deputy Commander is up to her alone.
As long as your cultivation meets the requirements, you can take the matching post. If your spiritual power cultivation reaches the peak of the Divine Palace realm, and your blood and chi cultivation reaches the Golden Apex Lord realm, you could too.
The young guard drew in another sharp breath.
Damn, Divine Palace Peak, Golden Apex Lord Realm, how old is he? He's actually reached such heights in both spiritual power and blood and chi cultivation.
No wonder General Zhu values him so much she treats him almost like her confidant.
The older guard sighed.
I think Yi Yan might become the next Shen Mo.
All the demon suppression guards nearby nodded in agreement. Recently, Shen Mo's illustrious feats had spread throughout the 10 demon suppression fortresses. Some might not know the names of the 10 great demon lords, but no one was unfamiliar with the name.
Shen Mo.
Nowadays, Shen Mo even had a fanatical following, calling themselves the Shen Clan Army. They believed Shen Mo would inevitably become the mightiest of all demon suppression generals. He would lead the demon suppression guards to forever suppress the demon clan, and one day set all demon suppression guards free. The young guard nodded vigorously.
I think Commander Yi will definitely become the second expert after General Shen to reach the manifestation realm. General Shen, Commander Yi, they're my role models.
The surrounding guards all burst out laughing.
With your talent, being a centurion would already be impressive. Don't set your sights too high. Yeah, with General Shen's talent and strength, you couldn't match even 100th of him. I think Yi Yan is still nowhere near Shen Mo. If you want a role model, make it Shen Mo. That's right, I agree.
After that came another round of cheerful laughter from the guards. In the distance, Yi Yan clenched his fists. Veins bulged on his forehead. He heard every word. Clear as day. Why bring up Shen Mo when they talk about him? Just thinking of that man made his heart turn cold. He loathed himself for it. Back then, at the banks of the Kang River, their first meeting, why hadn't he acted and killed Shen Mo right then and there? If only he'd gone all out, things wouldn't be so stifling now. All his glory was overshadowed by Shen Mo. Like a firefly compared to the bright moon. Utterly insignificant.
At least Zhu Xuanji trusts me, appreciates me. She's entrusted me with protecting Zhu 51 outpost. I must do it well. In the future, Zhu Xuanji will be my greatest support. And maybe, one day, I'll bring such a beauty into my own household.
Yi Yan took a deep breath and let a faint smile show. From the very first time he met Zhu Xuanji, he'd been captivated by her beauty. It was just that his preferences had started to shift a little lately thanks to Lin Dongshan's influence.
Damn it, why does Lin Dongshan like both men and women? He's made me start feeling weird too.
Yi Yan cursed inwardly a few times, shook off those strange thoughts and strode toward the outpost exit. Ever since arriving at the 5th layer of the demon suppression sea, he had worked tirelessly, fulfilling his duties as best as he could. Within 500 li of Zhu 51 outpost, he had cleared out all the 7th-rank demonized beasts. These 7th-rank demon beasts were as powerful as divine palace or venerable realm cultivators. Tainted by demonic energy, they were even more bloodthirsty and savage. If it came to a one-on-one fight, ordinary demon suppression guards wouldn't be their match at all. But he was a peerless genius and had 2 souls, Lin Dongshan and Lin Hu, inside him. Dealing with these 7th-rank demon beasts was not difficult. With those beasts wiped out, building Zhu 51 outpost became much easier. Few demon beasts could threaten the demon suppression guards anymore. Just then, a shout came from the guards on the city wall.
Demon beast, a demon beast is attacking. It's over 300 zhang long. Heavens!
Yi Yan's heart pounded wildly. A beast 300 zhang long. That was probably an 8th-rank demon beast. An 8th-rank demon beast was equivalent to a manifestation realm powerhouse. How could he possibly handle that? Besides, he had already cleared out all the demon beasts within 500 li. How could there still be so many demon beasts gathering here?
Commander Yi, what should we do?
Panic swept through the demon suppression guards. Yi Yan was the strongest in the outpost. Instinctively, they all gathered around him, hoping he would have an answer. Yi Yan took a deep breath.
Activate the formation immediately. The White Tiger Fortress and Azure Dragon Fortress outposts are nearby. Send requests for reinforcements at once.
Yi Yan was not only powerful but highly respected. His authority was the highest. His words were treated as commands. As soon as he spoke, people rushed to carry out the orders. A centurion hurried to Yi Yan's side and couldn't help but say,
Commander Yi, General Ling from Qingxuan Fortress is also on the 5th layer. He's closest to us. That beast over 300 zhang is extremely powerful, most likely an 8th rank demon beast. General Ling is a manifestation realm expert. We should request his help.
Yi Yan took a deep breath.
General Ling.
He was 100 times unwilling in his heart. Why should they call Shen Mo every time there was trouble? Why couldn't they call someone else? Aren't there demon suppression generals at Blood God Fortress and Panlong Fortress also on the 5th layer? As long as they could hold on long enough for those generals to arrive, wouldn't that be enough? Boom! A deafening noise shook the sky. Buildings within Zhuke 51 outpost trembled violently. Large chunks of rock tumbled to the ground. Frightened demon suppression guards screamed. Some unlucky ones were struck by the falling rocks, their fate unknown.
The formation.
The centurion looked up at the protective barrier's light, his face instantly turning ashen. Yi Yan glanced up as well, his heart turning cold. The formation's glow was completely shrouded in pitch-black demonic energy. Yi Yan's heart shook violently. A moment ago, he still had a sliver of hope. Now not anymore. This 300 zhang giant beast was truly an 8th rank demon beast. Without a manifestation realm expert, it was impossible to handle. Boom! The wolf-like giant beast raised its massive claw and smashed down. The outpost shook violently once more. The protective barrier groaned under the pressure, barely holding.
Commander Yi, request help from General Ling now. If we wait any longer, it'll be too late.
The centurion shouted desperately. Yi Yan gritted his teeth.
Ray!
Chapter 504, Innate Demonic Spirit Fruit, 4 Swords Destroy the Demon Beast. Qingxuan 51 Outpost. At the top of a tall tower, Shen Mo lounged there with a look of utter relaxation. A small sword spun playfully around him. It was none other than Sui Xing, the sword spirit of the heaven-severing sword codex. Whenever Shen Mo opened his mouth, Sui Xing would fly over to the nearby tray. The little sword flicked lightly, sending out invisible currents of air. In an instant, several purple fruits the size of fists were peeled, then sliced into thumb-sized pieces of flesh and delivered to Shen Mo's lips. He took a bite, and sweet juice instantly filled his mouth. Streams of spiritual energy flowed through his entire body. It was truly a refreshing sensation, as if all worries were forgotten. Shen Mo smacked his lips.
These innate demonic spirit fruits are pretty tasty.
Sui Xing chuckled, forming a line of words.
They were originally innate true spirit fruits. Even a mortal could build their foundation in a single day and ascend to the heavens with just one bite.
Now, even though they've been tainted by demonic energy, their medicinal power hasn't weakened. Instead, it's become even stronger. It's only because Dad possesses an eternal flame and can refine demonic energy. Anyone else wouldn't even dare touch these.
Shen Mo burst out laughing. Sure enough, the 5th layer of the demon suppression sea was filled with rare treasures and spiritual plants never seen before. These heavenly materials and earthly treasures had undergone subtle changes due to the demonic energy. Some became even more powerful, some far more dangerous. The innate demonic spirit fruit was a perfect example. Some demon suppression guards thought they were still innate true spirit fruits and ate them without hesitation. But the demonic energy inside drove them mad, turning them into bloodthirsty berserkers. Their own comrades had to end their lives with their own hands. Since then, no demon suppression guard dared touch the innate demonic spirit fruit. Shen Mo had only discovered a few by pure chance. With the 9 nether ice flame, he could remove the demonic taint and use the pure medicinal power for himself. 5 innate demonic spirit fruits could compare to 1,000-year azure thunder lotus. Azure thunder lotuses of 1,000 years were nearly impossible to find, but innate demonic spirit fruits could be gathered easily. Other people avoided such treasures, but for him, the more the better. Ever since he issued the mission to collect these fruits, he received a whole basketful every day. Fortunately, he had the heaven and earth great furnace technique. Otherwise, even refining them would be overwhelming. Buzz! A faint humming rang out. The ground trembled slightly. Shen Mo suddenly sat up, looking toward the direction of the sound.
There's movement over there.
Sui Xing paused, then said,
That's the direction of Zhu 51 outpost. With such a big commotion.
Zhuk 51 outpost.
General Shen, General Shen.
A demon suppression guard called out from the bottom of the tower. Zhuk 51 outpost is under attack from an 8th rank demon beast. They urgently need your support. Shen Mo's eyes lit up.
Tell them I'll be there right away. Let's go, kid.
Sui Xing obediently slipped into Shen Mo's sleeve. With a single leap, Shen Mo shot out like lightning. Ever since he condensed the Zibai Ju manifestation, his movement technique had grown even faster. Even though he was only at early manifestation realm, not even those at the peak could necessarily keep up with him. At best, they'd be eating his dust. Between Qingxuan 51 outpost and Zhu 51 outpost stretched over 3,000 li. In between were endless mountains and deep valleys. Some places were home to demon beasts as strong as demon emperors. If Shen Mo had nothing better to do, he wouldn't provoke such beasts and naturally took a detour. He'd only return when he had the strength to kill them easily. A quarter of an hour later, Shen Mo arrived swiftly outside Zhu 51 outpost. There a tall mountain loomed. Standing here, one could take in everything happening outside the outpost with a single glance.
A beast tied. And an 8th rank demon beast leading the charge. This doesn't look normal at all.
From afar, Shen Mo saw the restless horde of demon beasts and immediately sensed something was off. He glanced at his own life panel, but there were no changes. It must be the demon clan from the 6th layer causing trouble. Still, such petty tricks were far too simple to deal with. As the saying goes, overwhelming strength breaks all schemes. As long as you're powerful enough, every plot and conspiracy is as fragile as paper. Zhu 51 outpost. The defensive formation was on the verge of collapse. Rocks crashed down from above. Demon suppression guards were constantly being struck, desperate cries ringing out everywhere. The ground itself had started to crack from the tremors. Demonic energy surged up from underground, flooding into the outpost. Some guards had already been tainted by the demonic energy, turning vicious and bloodthirsty, drawing their blades against their own comrades.
We've already used up another box of supreme-grade spirit stones.
At the formation's core, 2 guards shouted in agitation. The 8th rank demon beast was simply too terrifying. Every movement put unbearable strain on the defensive formation. Supreme-grade spirit stones were being consumed faster than snow melting under the blazing sun. Often, a dozen or so supreme-grade stones wouldn't last even 10 breaths before all their energy was sucked out, turning them into useless, transparent husks. Now the formation's core had become downright dangerous. It was constantly draining spiritual energy. If anyone put their hand in now, they'd be instantly sucked dry. Yi Yan listened to these sounds, his gaze growing fiercer and fiercer. In his mind, Lin Dongshan roared.
Run! If you wait for Shen Mo, the outpost will collapse before he gets here. With Lin Hu protecting us, we can at least escape with our lives.
Yi Yan clenched his fists, a look of struggle on his face. He had poured his heart into building up this outpost, all for the sake of leaving a good impression on Zhu Xuanji. But now, all that was about to go up in smoke.
It's time to go.
Yi Yan looked toward the giant beast outside the outpost, over 300 zhang long, and turned to leave. He was someone who always planned ahead. He'd considered every possible situation. Although 8th rank demon beasts were rare near Zhu 51 outpost, he'd still accounted for the possibility of such an attack. That's why he had a backup escape plan ready. The minor teleportation talisman. It was a precious talisman he'd spent a huge amount of merit to exchange for from the heavenly Dao treasury. Once used, it would instantly transport him out of the outpost. But the minor teleportation talisman was random. He had no idea where he'd end up. Maybe at another outpost. If his luck was bad, he might land right in an 8th rank demon beast's lair. But whatever happened, it was better than dying here. As long as the outpost hadn't completely fallen, it was time to escape.
Look over there.
Just as Yi Yan was about to leave, shouts of shock erupted from the city wall. Yi Yan looked up instinctively. Suddenly, he saw 4 ancient swords tearing through the sky. Those swords were as vast as the ocean, as weighty as mountains, as if they had been soaked in the river of history for countless years. The moment the ancient swords appeared, every demon beast outside the outpost instinctively withdrew its demonic aura, as if they had sensed a terrifying natural enemy.
Perish.
Chapter 505. Shen Mo has only just stepped into the Dharma manifestation realm. His strength shouldn't be this great. Boom! The giant beast's body crashed heavily to the ground. Some of the smaller demon beasts didn't even have time to dodge and were smashed into pulp on the spot. The shockwave from the massive corpse hitting the earth sent countless other demon beasts flying, slamming them into the cliff walls, some dying, others gravely injured. Just this single blow killed at least 1,000 demon beasts. With the 8th rank beast no longer launching relentless attacks, the defensive formation's light at the outpost instantly flared to its peak. Top-grade spirit stones were no longer drained dry in an instant. The trembling of the ground ceased as well. No more massive boulders crashed down from the dome above.
Dead.
On the city wall, the demon suppression guards at Vermilion Bird Fortress felt as if they were dreaming. That colossal, terrifying beast like a living mountain had actually been slain so easily. Its tough hide, thick bones, and mercury-like blood.
Look up there.
A demon suppression guard suddenly cried out, pointing skyward. Everyone followed his gaze. Immediately, they saw a figure standing midair, his robes fluttering wildly in the wind.
That's...
The demon suppression guards were wild with joy. A few, overwhelmed with emotion, even knelt from afar and wept in gratitude.
Commander Yi, did you see? General Shen is here. I knew he would come.
The centurion from earlier hurried to Yi Yan's side, excitement in his voice. He had lost an arm, saving fellow demon suppression guards. Yet now, not only did he feel no pain, but he was grinning from ear to ear. Yi Yan took a deep breath and tried to compose himself.
I know, I always believed he would come.
In his mind, Lin Dongshan murmured.
Shen Mo.
Yi Yan shook his head.
Don't bother guessing. There's no point in trying to measure his strength.
He rubbed his face, doing his best to lighten his mood.
General Shen, thank you for your help.
He gathered his spiritual power and called out loudly to the sky. His face was flushed with excitement, his tone bright with joy. He truly shared in the feelings of the other demon suppression guards. Lin Dongshan muttered.
You sure can put on an act.
Yi Yan replied expressionlessly.
Too weak, no choice, but to bow my head.
Whoosh! Shen Mo soared through the air. In the blink of an eye, he landed inside the Vermilion Bird 51 outpost.
Commander Yi, we meet again.
Shen Mo glanced at Yi Yan's life panel, a smile on his face. Just as he expected. After fusing with Lin Dongshan's fate, Yi Yan's luck had grown even deeper. With just a glance, Shen Mo could see all the great opportunities surrounding Yi Yan. One opportunity in particular caught his eye. It was connected to the divine lightning flame of the 9 heavens. Recent opportunity 1, today the outpost faces crisis. Unable to resolve it alone, Shen Mo arrives and saves the day, leaving Yi Yan feeling frustrated. That night, while out walking, he discovers a rusty saber and 3 star spirit stones at the bottom of a lake 300 li southeast of Vermilion Bird 51 outpost. If the star spirit stones are refined into the saber, a weapon spirit will be born. Recent opportunity 2. In 1 month, Yi Yan leads some demon suppression guards from Vermilion Bird 51 outpost deeper into the 5th layer to establish a new outpost. During site selection, he accidentally falls into an underground cavern and finds the remains of a deceased demon suppression general. Obtaining a piece of amber containing a drop of the companion treasure, Thunder Flame Dew, from the divine lightning flame of the 9 heavens. After refining it, he makes great progress and steps into the heavenly apex venerable realm. Recent Opportunity 3. In 3 months, while clearing out demon beasts around Vermilion Bird 52 outpost, Yi Yan is accidentally swallowed by a giant myth fish and finds fragments of the Earthsplitter armor in its belly. Through the armor's artifact spirit, he learns that this was the armor worn by Martial Ancestor in his rise to power, and that it can resonate with the heaven-opening sword, its power becoming even greater. Recent Opportunity 4. 1 year from now, while assisting the Azure Dragon 52 outpost in resisting a peak 7th rank demon beast, Yi Yan fights to the death without retreating and unexpectedly awakens his martial spirit's potential, resulting in a tremendous increase in strength. Recent Opportunity 5.
Greetings, General Shen.
Yi Yan bowed respectfully, his manner sincere. The usual coldness on his face had completely disappeared. Shen Mo nodded with a smile.
No need for formality. As fellow strongholds of the human race, it's only right to help each other.
Elsewhere, at the entrance to the 5th layer, 3 figures were flying swiftly. The leader was a graceful woman, Qingxuan of Vermilion Bird Fortress. Behind her came 1 man and 1 bear, General Qingling of Blood God Fortress and General Bai Jiu of Azure Dragon Fortress. Because the 5th layer situation was unusual. The danger level was unclear, and powerful 8th rank demon beasts lurked in the shadows. These 2 strongholds had more Dharma manifestation realm experts, so they sent people to reinforce and prevent heavy casualties. As for Zhu Xuanji, she was at the entrance to the 5th layer, searching for the heavenly treasure she needed for a breakthrough. When she heard something had happened at Vermilion Bird 51 outpost, she rushed over at once. That's how she came together with Bai Jiu and Qingling.
Please, let nothing go wrong.
Zhu Xuanji prayed inwardly. Bai Jiu comforted her.
Don't worry, General Zhu. 8th rank demon beasts are very territorial, they won't leave their lairs easily.
Qingling nodded, his voice deep and rumbling.
I'm guessing maybe a dozen peak 7th rank demon beasts attacked. The outpost couldn't withstand it and called for help.
The 3 figures sped ahead. Before long, they arrived in the skies above Vermilion Bird 51 outpost.
Huh, look, that giant beast is already dead.
Bai Jiu gazed at the mountain-like corpse on the ground, looking puzzled. Qingling sensed carefully, then said in a low voice.
It's definitely dead. Judging by the lingering aura, it was most likely an 8th rank demon beast.
Who did this? Who could kill an 8th rank demon beast? Could there be another Dharma manifestation realm expert on the 5th layer?
Zhu Xuanji immediately thought of Shen Mo. Zhang Longxiang mentioned that a young man named Shen Mo from Black Tortoise Fortress is currently in the 5th layer.
If there are any other Dharma manifestation realm experts here, it should be him. But
She let out a small sound of surprise. Qingling and Bai Jiu both paused in astonishment when they heard the name. They naturally knew who Shen Mo was. Lately, his name had already spread throughout the 10 great strongholds. Even so, it was hard for them to connect the corpse of the giant beast before them with Shen Mo. After all, both of them were seasoned Dharma manifestation realm experts. Even with their vast combat experience, they might only be able to defeat or drive away an 8th rank demon beast, but killing one was another matter entirely. And Shen Mo had only recently advanced to the Dharma manifestation realm. No matter how strong he was, he shouldn't have been able to slay such a beast before they arrived.
Maybe it was another Dharma manifestation realm cultivator who came to the 5th layer seeking heavenly treasures.
Bai Jiu guessed. Qingling nodded.
Makes sense.
Zhu Xuanji said seriously.
Let's hurry over. We'll know the truth when we reach the outpost.
Chapter 506, Supreme Heavenly Grade Blackwater Profound Essence. The 3 Dharma manifestation realm experts accelerated again, their figures vanishing in a flash. When they reappeared, they were already floating above the outpost.
Look, it's General Zhu. And the other 2 generals must be from the other strongholds.
Some sharp-eyed demon suppression guards immediately noticed them and shouted excitedly. The 3 Dharma manifestation experts slowly landed. Yi Yan saw that the leader was Zhu Xuanji, and his heart instantly skipped a beat. He had once promised Zhu Xuanji that he would do his utmost to protect Vermilion Bird 51 outpost. Yet now, not only had he failed to protect the outpost, but he had even needed Shen Mo's help. He had never felt more humiliated.
Greetings, General Zhu, General Bai, General Xing.
Yi Yan said quietly. Zhu Xuanji nodded to him, but her gaze soon moved past Yi Yan and landed on Shen Mo. Qingling and Bai Ju didn't even spare Yi Yan a glance, staring directly at Shen Mo.
Shen Mo, I didn't expect it to really be you.
Zhu Xuanji said, smiling as she walked closer. Shen Mo cupped his hands.
It's an honor to meet the three of you, seniors.
Qingling and Bai Ju both looked surprised. Bai Ju strode forward.
So it's Shen Mo, a pleasure, a pleasure. I've long heard your name.
He sized up Shen Mo, clicking his tongue in admiration. This was his first time seeing Shen Mo in person. Qingling's voice was a deep rumble.
Shi Tian told me in person that Shen Mo of Black Tortoise Fortress is remarkable, and now that I've met you, it's true.
Shen Mo greeted them with a friendly smile. It's only polite to be friendly when others are.
So,
Bai Ju pointed at the huge corpse outside, looking confused. Qingling also turned to Shen Mo.
Right, we hurried here nonstop, only to find we weren't needed after all. What on earth happened?
Only Zhu Xuanji sensed something unusual. She keenly noticed that all the demon suppression guards around were looking at Shen Mo with deep gratitude and admiration.
Could it be that 8th rank demon beast was killed by Shen Mo?
Even she found her own suspicion ridiculous. Before Shen Mo could reply, the nearby centurion couldn't hold back any longer and said,
reporting to the generals, that 8th rank demon beast was slain by General Shen.
The words left Bai Ju and Qingling both stunned.
What the?
Bai Ju finally managed to blurt out a curse. Qingling went right up to Shen Mo, sniffing around as if he could find some hidden secret on him. Zhu Xuanji, already having guessed the truth, was less shocked. She just looked at Shen Mo with a sense of admiration.
Zhang Longxiang, your eye for talent is sharp as ever.
She thought to herself in praise. Shen Mo couldn't help but laugh wryly. He cupped his hands and said,
It's true, I killed the 8th rank demon beast. The reason is simple. I've condensed just a few more Dharma manifestations than usual.
Qingling and Bai Ju suddenly seemed to remember something. Bai Ju's eyes lit up.
That's right, old Tang mentioned you had 2 Dharma manifestations. One is a giant elephant, the other is a great river.
I don't know exactly what they are, but he said that just seeing them from afar gives off an ancient and mighty aura. Their rank must be extraordinary. No wonder you could so easily slay an 8th rank demon beast. Impressive.
Bai Ju spoke with genuine admiration.
Truly, the waves behind push the waves ahead. The elders get swept onto the sand.
Compared to Shen Mo, he felt like an old chicken. Qingling, for his part, looked at Shen Mo with a hint of wariness. In his eyes, Zhang Longxiang was already a first-class genius. Shi Tian often said that if Zhang Longxiang hadn't been injured, his strength would rank among the top 3 of all demon suppression generals. But now, he was seeing a human with even more limitless potential than Zhang Longxiang. It was truly astonishing. Once he returned, he'd have to report this to Shi Tian immediately.
Thank you. If not for you, Vermilion Bird 51 outpost would surely have suffered total destruction.
Zhu Xuanji gave Shen Mo a slight, sincere bow.
By the way, our Vermilion Bird Fortress also has a young genius I'd like General Shen to meet.
Zhu Xuanji smiled and waved her hand.
Yi Yan, come here.
Yi Yan stiffened but still walked over. Shen Mo smiled, half amused. Zhu Xuanji said warmly,
His name is Yi Yan. He's our fortress's top talent. He's a little older than General Shen, but has already cultivated to the peak of the divine palace realm at the golden apex venerable level.
I expect that in another 30 to 50 years, he should be able to break through to the Dharma manifestation realm.
When that day comes, if he ever needs your help, I hope you'll look after him.
Yi Yan felt bitter inside. Zhu Xuanji truly valued him. She even took the initiative to introduce him. But
General Zhu, you're too polite. We're all of the human race, of course. I'll help wherever I can. Besides, I've actually known Yi Yan for a while. We both joined the demon suppression guards through conscription.
Zhu Xuanji was surprised.
You've known each other for a while.
She looked at Yi Yan.
You never told me that.
Yi Yan forced a smile, pulling out his prepared excuse.
It's true I've known General Shen since the beginning, but I didn't want to make that public. It would feel like I was using my connection to General Shen to climb upward. I don't want that.
Zhu Xuanji nodded approvingly after hearing this.
Good, that's the spirit I admire in a genius. As cultivators, we should rise one step at a time, without relying on personal connection steadfast and solid.
She patted Yi Yan heavily on the shoulder, her expression full of comfort.
In the future, make sure to keep a good relationship with General Shen. You can't stand against an 8th-rank demon beast. If you encounter danger, call for help at once. Understand?
Yi Yan nodded.
Understood.
Zhu Xuanji turned serious.
General Shen, I hope you'll continue to support the outposts of Vermilion Bird Fortress in the future.
After some thought, she took something out. It was a jet-black drop of water, wrapped in dense spiritual energy. Even though she had just brought it out, it was already drawing water essence from the air. In the blink of an eye, dense moisture gathered all around. Xiangling didn't recognize it, but Bai Jiu immediately did.
This is...
Zhu Xuanji nodded.
Exactly.
She handed it to Shen Mo.
This is a drop of Blackwater Profound Essence. I came across it by chance while searching for heavenly treasures in the 5th layer. I heard General Shen has condensed a great river Dharma manifestation. This treasure is best for strengthening Dharma manifestations related to rivers and lakes.
It's a waste for me to keep it, so I'd rather give it to you.
Chapter 507, Earthsplitter Armor Heaven and Earthblood Spirit Light. As expected, Zhu Xuanji smiled and said,
I don't mean anything else. I just hope that General Shen can lend a hand in the future. The Qingxuan 51 outpost is the closest to the Vermilion Bird 51 outpost. If another 8th-rank demon beast appears next time, I hope General Shen, on account of this drop of Blackwater Profound Essence, will help if you can. If you encounter a danger that's too much to handle and really can't help, that's fine too.
These words were already very considerate. Help if you can, and if you really can't, no one will force you. Obviously, Zhu Xuanji didn't put on any airs of a senior, but instead made the request to Shen Mo as an equal. Shen Mo nodded slightly.
I agree. From now on, I'll visit the outposts established by Vermilion Bird Fortress often.
Naturally, he accepted Zhu Xuanji's request. Before, he didn't have much excuse to frequently come and take advantage of Yi Yan, but now he had one. He could completely come over often under the pretext of joint defense. Moreover, no one would raise any objections, because Zhu Xuanji had paid a price to invite Shen Mo. Having such a living, breathing Dharma manifestation realm expert come help every few days, people would be overjoyed. Who could ask for more? Upon hearing Shen Mo's words, Zhu Xuanji was overjoyed. For a Dharma manifestation realm expert, this promise carried plenty of weight. Zhu Xuanji broke into a bright smile.
Good, then let's not be so distant. I'll call you Brother Shen and you can call me Sister. How about that?
Sure, Sister Jai.
Zhu Xuanji.
All right, Sister Qingxuan.
After chatting for a while longer, Zhu Xuanji, Xiangling, and Bai Jiu finally took their leave. Xiangling and Bai Jiu had to return to their respective outposts to stand guard. Zhu Xuanji, meanwhile, was busy searching for the rare materials needed for her breakthrough. No one could afford to be idle. After they left, the Vermilion Bird 51 outpost became busy once more. Treating the wounded, clearing the ruins.
Commander Yi, General Zhu thinks highly of you.
Yi Yan forced a smile.
For now, I've just managed to catch General Zhu's attention.
Shen Mo waved his hand.
Commander Yi, I'll leave the restoration and reorganization of the outpost to you.
With that, he lightly tapped the ground and disappeared like a gust of wind. Yan watched Shen Mo's figure disappear into the distance and sighed quietly. In his mind, Lin Dongshan said softly.
Shen Mo will be coming often from now on.
Yi Yan gave a bitter smile.
What can we do? After all, he was personally invited by Zhuge Xuanji. Besides, for ordinary demon suppression guards, having a Dharma manifestation realm expert visit frequently is something to be happy about.
Lin Dongshan fell silent. Clearly, he had nothing more to say either.
For now, we'll just have to take things one step at a time. I need to go out often in search of opportunities, and must find the visualization diagram most suitable for me as soon as possible.
Yi Yan clenched his fists. His spiritual power cultivation had already reached the peak of the divine palace realm. He could start condensing his Dharma manifestation at any time. What he lacked now was a supreme-grade, heaven-rank visualization diagram suitable for himself. Time flew by, and another 3 years passed. During these years, the demon suppression guards made rapid progress in exploring the 5th layer of the demon suppression sea. Powerful fortresses like Blood God Fortress and Panlong Fortress managed to establish 7 outposts each within just 3 years. Qingxuan Fortress was slightly inferior, having set up 5 outposts. At this rate, in just another 2 or 3 months, the entire 5th layer would be fully explored. When that time came, preparations to explore the 6th layer would begin. Qingxuan 55 Outpost. At the top of the high tower, Shen Mo sat quietly reading the mystical arts of spiritual treasure talismans. However, the few incessant voices around him clearly didn't intend to let him peacefully comprehend this text.
When we crossed the void back then, why did you leave on your own? If not for you, the master wouldn't have been injured resisting the void erosion. I told you long ago the Martial Ancestor abandoned us. Why don't you listen? If he hadn't thrown us away, would I have left him? Nonsense, the master didn't abandon us. He just needed us to resist the void erosion. You foolish artifact spirit, if he wanted to find us, he would have done so already. Why would he wait until now? When he went to the grand world and used us to resist the void erosion, do you remember how much that hurt? You've forgotten it all.
I don't care. The master was always the best to us. In my whole life, I only ever acknowledged him as my master.
Heh, watching you two argue is so entertaining. Come on, argue more, make it even louder.
A deep and a crisp voice quarreled endlessly. There was also another voice just enjoying the chaos. After a while, as the two continued to bicker, another line of text floated around Shen Mo.
In my opinion, this so-called Martial Ancestor is nothing compared to my dad.
Shen Mo raised his eyebrow.
Quiet, all of you quiet.
Only then did the voices subside. But it seemed like they were still muttering. Shen Mo couldn't help but rub his forehead. He'd once snatched Yi Yan's opportunity, bringing back the broken fragments of the Earthsplitter armor. At first, he only wanted to test what kind of resonance and power the Earthsplitter armor and the heaven-opening sword might generate together. Who could have expected that the artifact spirit of the Earthsplitter armor,
Haiyan,
after so many ages, still hadn't completely faded away? When Shen Mo obtained the fragments and tossed them into his storage ring. As soon as he returned to the outpost, he noticed something strange. The fragments of the Earthsplitter armor forcibly absorbed a piece of starlight stone. Then, in less than a day, the artifact spirit that had slumbered for years suddenly awoke. When the artifact spirit of the heaven-opening sword, Xiling, discovered Haiyan, she immediately started hurling insults. Ever since these two artifact spirits met again, their arguments had never stopped. As for the troublemaking spirit, that was Tai the naturally rebellious artifact spirit of the Tei demon armor. In the past, Tai was quite afraid of the 9 nether ice flame and rarely spoke loudly. Xiling didn't want to interact with Shen Mo, so she rarely spoke either. Usually, only Sui Xing would circle around Shen Mo, calling him
Dad,
all the time. But now that Haiyan had arrived, it was like a giant boulder thrown into a tranquil lake. Waves surged and the noise never stopped.
new master, from now on you're my new master, please accept me.
Haiyan said respectfully. Shen Mo looked puzzled.
Why do you want to recognize me as your master so badly?
Haiyan replied earnestly.
Last time, when the Martial Ancestor used us artifact spirits as shields to cross the void, I endured immense pain. After leaving the Martial Ancestor, I told myself that no matter who I met next, I'd acknowledge them as my master.
Shen Mo nodded slightly. This artifact spirit Haiyan seemed honest and dependable. He might be worth using.
All right, I accept.
But I want to know what kind of resonance is there between the heaven-opening sword and the earth-splitter armor.
Tell me.
Shen Mo spoke calmly. Xiling shrieked.
Don't tell him.
Haiyan ignored her and replied respectfully.
I know. The heaven-opening sword's ability is to convert blood energy into blood essence. The Earth-Splitter armor's ability is to convert spiritual power into spiritual essence. When the two resonate, blood essence and spiritual essence can be fused together, forming an extremely powerful force. The Martial Ancestor called it the Heaven and Earth Blood Spirit Light.
The Heaven and Earth Blood Spirit Light is incredibly strong in battle. The Martial Ancestor said it was comparable to a full-force blow from a mid-tier Saintrank martial skill. But what's even more amazing is that it can be used to sense the void. Chapter 508, Power of the Void 5 Dharma Manifestations. Shen Mo raised an eyebrow. It was from Lin Dongshan's life panel that he first learned about the difference between a small world and a great world. 9 Nether Ice Flame had told him about the relationship between the void and the world. Now he had some guesses. This world was a small world. Beyond the void, there was another world called the Great World. Supreme experts like Martial Ancestor and Desolate Lord had probably all emerged from the small world, crossed the void, and headed for the Great World. As for why they left but never returned, Shen Mo had no idea. Perhaps there was some mysterious force that prevented the powerful from returning to the small world. Shen Mo was deeply curious about all of this, because he knew that, sooner or later, he would leave this small world and head for the Great World. Now, after the resonance between the heaven-opening sword and the earth-splitting armor, the appearance of the Qingxuan blood spirit light made him even more curious about the void.
Why do we need to sense the void?
Shen Mo asked. Black Flame replied seriously.
Martial Ancestor said that to cross the void and reach the Great World, you must comprehend the void. Only those cultivators who have gained some understanding of the void have any chance of successfully crossing it. Otherwise, you'll get lost in the void. The outcome is terrible. No matter how powerful your spiritual power or blood energy, you can't resist the erosion of the void.
Shen Mo considered this.
After sensing the void, can you strengthen your own power?
Black Flame answered firmly.
Yes.
Martial Ancestor told us that after sensing the void, he gained a trace of void power inside his body. Every time he fought an enemy, this trace of void power would deal great damage to the opponent.
At the Nirvana realm, above the Dharma manifestation realm, whether you have void power is what separates the strong from the weak. Even among those at the same Nirvana realm, there will be huge power gaps because of the void power. As for exactly how powerful, I'm not sure.
Shen Mo clicked his tongue in amazement. It seemed he would have to spend some time comprehending void power.
Can the earth-splitting armor, as it is now, condense spiritual essence?
Black Flame shook his head.
The earth-splitting armor now has less than a quarter remaining. Its efficiency in condensing spiritual essence is very low. If the earth-splitting armor were intact, 100 strands of spiritual power could condense into 1 strand of spiritual essence. But now it takes at least 500 strands, and the time required is 4 or 5 times longer. But Master, don't worry. I can sense the existence of other fragments of the earth-splitting armor. Right now, I can sense there's a piece underground at this outpost.
Shen Mo raised an eyebrow. Luck was coming his way, and nothing could stop it. With his current comprehension, perhaps he could try to sense the void. Once he succeeded, his strength would rise sharply. Black Flame said gravely,
Master, the void is very dangerous. You must be prepared.
When Martial Ancestor sensed the void in the past, he often lost an arm or a leg. There was even one time he was left with only his head and upper body. Fortunately, his physical body was extremely strong, so he managed to survive. Shen Mo nodded slightly.
I understand. I'm already prepared for how fearsome the void is.
Moreover, he didn't believe his body was inferior to Martial Ancestors at that stage. His body was definitely even more robust and powerful than Martial Ancestors at the same realm. Shen Mo lifted his head, his gaze seeming to pierce through the house, the dome, the sky, reaching beyond the small world, into that vast, endless, chaotic void.
To sense the void, that day is not far off.
Shen Mo took a deep breath and smiled. Another 2 years passed. Under the leadership of Dharma manifestation realm experts like Shen Mo, Xingling, and Bai Ju, the 10 great fortresses officially entered the 6th level. The dangers of the 6th level far exceeded those of the 5th. The difficulties and obstacles encountered here were even more frightening. Even with Dharma manifestation realm experts like Shen Mo present, it was impossible to cover everything. From the very first day of entering the 6th level, demon suppression guards suffered casualties. With 10 fortresses and nearly 10,000 demon suppression guards assisting, they managed to establish 2 large outposts at the entrance to the 6th level, forming a pincer formation. Taking even one more step forward was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Both outposts had to withstand massive attacks from the demons every day. The demonic energy in the 6th level was even thicker, so much so that even Shen Mo felt his strength was somewhat suppressed. Let alone the ordinary demon suppression guards. Far off on the battlefield, there were also demon emperor-level demons holding the line. They did not join the battle. Whenever Shen Mo charged at them, they would retreat into the distance. When Shen Mo returned to the outpost, they would follow him back. It was endlessly annoying. This was exactly what made the demons so terrifying. There were simply too many of them. Even if the probability of a powerful individual emerging was low, with enough numbers, there would always be a fair number of demon emperors. These demon emperors possessed the bloodline of the great sky demon. The only difference between them and the lords of authority, the 10 great sky demons, was that they had not mastered the power of authority. Qingxuan 61 Outpost. Shen Mo let out a long breath and calmed his mind. With a thought, his consciousness entered his divine palace. On the 4 walls of the divine palace, 4 Dharma manifestations were now engraved. The first depicted the undying river, surging endlessly and vast. The second showed the swift white colt, noble and radiant like a streak of light. The third was the blazing celestial eye, burning fiercely and piercing all. The fourth was the battle fiend, savage, courageous, and ready to battle the heavens and earth. This 4th Dharma manifestation was snatched by Shen Mo from Yi Yan half a year ago. The battle fiend was an extremely rare demonic beast. Legend had it that it was a hybrid born from the star-reaching ape and the heaven-shaking demon ape, and could only be born through this unique pairing. The chance of this beast being born was exceedingly low, and it was prone to early death. The battle fiend could not reproduce. It lived solely for battle. It was said that even in ancient times, during the era when the demons ruled the world, sightings of the battle fiend were extremely rare. Now it was unheard of. Shen Mo only learned a fragmentary account of this rare species from some ancient texts. Prime elephant for suppression, undying river for restoration, blazing celestial eye for perception, swift white colt for speed, battle fiend for combat. Shen Mo smiled. With these 5 Dharma manifestations, every aspect was covered. He could be called a pentagonal warrior. These days, after refining rare treasures like Thunderflame Dew and Blackwater Dark Essence, his realm had advanced once again. Now he had reached late-stage Dharma manifestation realm. With his current strength, any Dharma manifestation realm expert within the demon suppression fortress would not be his match. Even the great sky demons that once posed a threat to him were now nothing to worry about. Even if he faced the first great sky demon, and Kang, he had a 50 or 60% chance of victory.
Time for a stroll.
In good spirits, Shen Mo leaped from the high tower. Wherever he passed, all the demon suppression guards bowed respectfully.
Greetings, General Shen. General Shen, good day.
Looking around, Shen Mo saw that within the Qingxuan 61 outpost, demon suppression guards from the human race, the demon race, and the Flood Dragon clan were all present. After all, there were only 2 outposts on the 6th level at present. This outpost had been built solely by the demon suppression guards of the Qingxuan fortress. If the demon suppression guards of other fortresses wanted to construct additional outposts, they had to use this place as a base and proceed slowly from there. Most of the demon suppression guards stationed at Qingxuan 61 outpost came from the 4 human fortresses, the Golden Mountain Fortress of the Demon Race, and the Cold Dragon Fortress of the Flood Dragon clan. The nearby Blood God 61 outpost was completely the opposite most of its demon suppression guards, hailed from the 4 demon fortresses and the Panlong Fortress of the Flood Dragon clan. Shen Mo took a few laps around the outpost, treating it as an inspection. Just as he was about to return to the high tower to continue cultivating, he saw a figure rushing over at high speed.
Shen Mo, my General Shen, I finally found you.
Chapter 509. If you can't believe in yourself, at least believe in your fate. The newcomer was none other than Wang Xingyan. He was the deputy commander of Qingxuan Fortress and the supervisor of the armory. Although Shen Mo was now powerful enough not to need personal protection, Wang Xingyan had still requested permission from Zhang Longxiang to stay by Shen Mo's side. Wherever Shen Mo went, he followed. For the past few years, almost all important matters had been reported to Shen Mo by Wang Xingyan.
Something's happened.
Shen Mo raised an eyebrow. Wang Xingyan nodded.
Something has indeed happened. Some demon suppression guards discovered that a nearby demon settlement has vanished. And it disappeared without a trace overnight.
Shen Mo frowned. A demon settlement vanished. Wang Xingyan lowered his voice.
I suspect the demons sacrificed these settlements to revive a limb of the demon emperor. Remember last time when they tried to revive the demon emperor's left hand, didn't they plunder countless lives?
Among those sacrificed were even humans, monsters, and Flood Dragon clans under the fortress's protection.
Shen Mo nodded slightly. Back at the ancient altar, he'd seen many corpses around the blood pool. Some of them were even demons. In order to revive the immortal demon emperor's limbs, the great demon lords would do anything. In their eyes, low-blooded lesser demons weren't even considered real demons. At best, they were just beasts that reeked of demonic energy. Since they were beasts, what was the harm in slaughtering them and using their blood to revive the immortal demon emperor's limbs?
This is important. If we follow the clues, we might be able to find the demon altar.
Shen Mo nodded slightly. Wang Xingyan grinned.
This is a major contribution, right? Is it enough to trade for a jar of fiery brew?
Shen Mo couldn't help but laugh.
All right, go claim a jar.
There was a demon suppression guard in the outpost skilled in brewing. His fiery brew wasn't much inferior to the official fiery brew one could exchange for in the heavenly Dao treasury. The taste was almost identical. If you weren't too particular, it was perfectly drinkable. That was the imitation fiery brew Wang Xingyan was talking about. Shen Mo asked casually,
By the way, how's that blade I gave you?
Among Yi Yan's opportunities was a rusty long saber and a few star spirit stones. That rusty saber was called 7 Stars, originally a lower-grade heaven-tier spiritual weapon. After being tainted by demonic energy, it gradually dulled and was abandoned by its previous owner. Now it was at most a top-grade earth-tier weapon. It had to be used frequently to slay demons so that its rust could slowly be cleansed. Shen Mo didn't use sabers and couldn't be bothered to cleanse it with demon blood, so he simply gave it to Wang Xingyan. Hearing this, Wang Xingyan immediately drew the saber at his waist and praised.
This 7-star saber is perfect for me. I've slain quite a few demons with it lately. Look, some of the rust is already gone.
Wang Xingyan chuckled.
I never thought old Wang here would ever wield a heaven-tier spiritual weapon. Even rusty, it's still a heaven-tier weapon.
Seeing Wang Xingyan's excitement, Shen Mo also smiled. For ordinary demon suppression guards, a top-grade earth-tier spiritual weapon was usually the best they could hope to touch. As for heaven-tier weapons, those were only seen in dreams. Even when Wang Xingyan had once been a commander, the battle merits he accumulated were never enough to exchange for a heaven-tier weapon. And even if they were, he would rather trade for cultivation methods, martial techniques, or spiritual pills than a weapon. All those were more useful than a spiritual weapon. But now he had gotten his hands on a heaven-tier treasure blade. Naturally, he cherished it dearly.
As long as you like it.
Shen Mo said with a small smile. His gaze swept past Wang Xingyan, and he suddenly noticed a demon suppression guard deliberately trying to avoid him. He smiled slightly.
Commander Yi, come here.
Yi Yan cursed inwardly, but forced a smile as he quickly walked over. He had just returned from a mission and was about to rest, but ran into Shen Mo on the way. He instinctively wanted to avoid him out of fear. Who could have known Shen Mo would spot him at a glance? With no choice, Yi Yan steeled himself and approached.
General Shen, did you need something?
Shen Mo glanced at Yi Yan's status panel and smiled.
Old Wang, didn't you need a good hand to help find the altar's location? I think Commander Yi is just right for the job.
Wang Xingyan nodded.
Yi Yan, right? I've heard of you. You've got a great record and are highly valued by General Zhu Xuanji.
A year ago, you helped the Azure Dragon 52nd Outpost resist a massive tide of peak 7th rank demons. You fought for 2 days without retreating, holding out until General Shen arrived with reinforcements.
Not bad, not bad. Are you willing to join me in searching for the exact location of the demon altar?
After hearing this, Yi Yan's heart surged with stormy waves. He was always one to weigh risks and rewards. This kind of task, finding the precise location of the demon altar, was clearly both arduous and dangerous. If he failed, he might even lose his life. As for what Wang Xingyan mentioned, that so-called
unyielding battle to the death.
a year ago, it actually wasn't what he wanted. With countless eyes watching him from behind, he was under so much scrutiny that he couldn't run even if he wanted to. He had no choice but to grit his teeth and charge ahead. Fortunately, he was blessed with 3 souls and had plenty of hidden cards, which was how he managed to hold out for 2 days until Shen Mo arrived. Yi Yan was deeply suspicious inside. Could Shen Mo be assigning him such a dangerous task just to get rid of him? At this thought, his anxiety only grew. Shen Mo noticed the look on Yi Yan's face and couldn't help but curve his lips in a smile. Finding the demon altar required luck. And not ordinary luck. It demanded great fortune. Ordinary people would never be able to find it. Wang Xingyan's luck was, at best, just above average. If he took a few demon suppression guards to search, he'd be lucky to keep himself safe. There was no way he'd find the demon altar. Even if Shen Mo spent time searching, he might not succeed. Besides, Shen Mo didn't want to waste time on such things. Clearly, that time was better spent cultivating. But Yi Yan was different. He'd fused with Lin Dongshan's fate. His luck could only be described as heaven-defying. With him joining the search party, they would definitely find the exact location of the demon altar. And he was certain to make it back alive. On this point, Shen Mo was very confident.
General Shen, I'm afraid I can't handle such an important responsibility. Please choose someone else.
Yi Yan said, swallowing hard and speaking quickly. Shen Mo gave his shoulder a firm pat.
Commander Yi, I believe in you. Everyone believes in you. You have to believe in yourself too.
If you can't believe in yourself, at least believe in your fate. Yi Yan lowered his voice.
But General Shen, I just got back from a mission and need to report to General Zhu. If General Zhu doesn't get my report, she'll surely worry.
Shen Mo narrowed his eyes. He's using Zhu Xuanji as a shield against me. Wang Xingyan, an old hand himself, could also hear the resistance in Yi Yan's words. Shen Mo smiled.
Then contact Sister Qingxuan now and report the situation to her.
Yi Yan took a deep breath, pulled out a demon crystal sound transmission jade from his robes. The deeper you went into the demon suppression sea, the easier it was for regular sound transmission jades to fail. Commanders and above were equipped with even more precious demon crystal sound transmission jades. These sound transmission jades were made from a special kind of jade called demon crystal jade. After being tempered by demonic energy, it was much harder to process, but its advantage was that it could transmit messages even through dense demonic energy. Demon crystal jade was mostly found on the 5th and 6th levels. In the past, it was hard to mine, so it couldn't be widely supplied. But now, with the 5th level under control, demon crystal sound transmission jades had gradually become more common. Now even centurions could use them. After a brief wait, Zhu Xuanji's voice came from the other end of the sound transmission jade.
Yi Yan, how did the mission go?
Yi Yan gave his usual report and also mentioned the new task of searching for the demon altar. With Shen Mo present, he didn't dare embellish, so he recounted everything honestly. Finally, he said, Chapter 510, In this world, he's the one who knows Yi Yan best. After Yi Yan finished speaking, Zhu Xuanji was silent for a moment. Yi Yan immediately felt a surge of excitement. There was hope. He was someone Zhu Xuanji valued. As long as Zhu Xuanji disagreed, he wouldn't have to go. But in the next moment, Zhu Xuanji happily said,
This is a great thing. It means General Shen values and trusts you.
Yi Yan, Zhu Xuanji said joyfully.
This mission is a great opportunity for you to show your abilities. You are a demon suppression guard of the Vermilion Bird Fortress. Everything you do represents the face of the fortress. If you find the demon altar, all the demon suppression guards of the human race will take pride in Vermilion Bird Fortress.
Yi Yan. Zhu Xuanji paused, then added.
However, this mission is indeed tough and quite dangerous.
Yi Yan's eyes, which had just dimmed, suddenly lit up again. He heard Zhu Xuanji think for a moment, then say seriously,
Is General Shen by your side?
Yi Yan quickly replied.
Yes, he's right here. I'll have him speak with you now.
Shen Mo smiled.
Sister Xuan.
Zhu Xuanji said sincerely.
Brother Mo, you know how the Vermilion Bird Fortress is short on talent. Any loss of a genius is a real blow.
Yi Yan's heart nearly leapt out of his chest. General Zhu. You're my savior. Zhu Xuanji's tone held a trace of pleading. Yi Yan's expression froze instantly. Shen Mo smiled.
Of course, Yi Yan is a rare talent, and I don't want to see him injured or killed either. Sister Xuan, rest assured, I will absolutely give him a life-saving trump card.
Only then did Zhu Xuanji relax.
Good, Brother Mo, thank you. Yi Yan, hurry and thank General Shen.
Yi Yan. Shen Mo smiled.
No need. If you want to thank someone, thank General Zhu for her guidance.
Yi Yan. Zhu Xuanji chatted with Shen Mo for a while longer before hanging up, clearly having full confidence in Shen Mo's character. Shen Mo then took out 2 talismans.
This talisman was personally drawn by me. It's called the Hidden Sword Talisman, and it contains a strand of my sword Qi. As long as you don't run into one of the 10 great demon lords themselves, you won't be in mortal danger.
He handed the 2 talismans to Wang Xing'an and Yi Yan respectively. Lately, he'd been studying the marvelous methods of spiritual treasure talismans and had gradually learned to draw some low-grade talismans. For instance, this talisman was merely a lower earth-grade empty talisman with no special effects. But it could hold an attack. So he imbued it with a strand of void ancient sword Qi. Of course, the power that a top profound-grade empty talisman could contain wasn't very great. Thus, the sword Qi inside this one only had about 1/10 of the void ancient sword's full power. Wang Xing'an laughed heartily.
Commander Yi, what are you standing around for? Let's go. If we really do find the demon altar, we'll be credited with a major achievement, and the whole fortress will share in our honor.
Yi Yan gave a dry laugh. At this point, with Zhu Xuanji's approval and Shen Mo's life-saving card in hand, he had no reason left to refuse. He could only go along. He could only hope his luck would hold. Shen Mo watched the 2 leave, a faint smile on his lips. Wang Xing'an was a seasoned veteran and had already figured out what kind of person Yi Yan was. Most likely, nothing would go wrong. As for Yi Yan, he had even less to worry about. In this world, he was the one who understood Yi Yan best. Countless times better than Yi Yan understood himself. As expected, Yi Yan's status panel has changed. Chapter 511, I'm worried about your safety. Recently, several new opportunities have been added to Yi Yan's fate. Upcoming Turning Point 1. Today, he caught Shen Mo's attention and is now forced to carry out the arduous task of searching for the demon clan's altar. Upcoming Turning Point 2. 3 days later, during the search for the demon clan altar, he encounters a ceiling collapse, is seriously injured, and barely escapes. Upcoming Opportunity 1. 5 days later, while searching for the demon clan altar, he accidentally discovers a patch of ringing flowers and obtains ringing dew from them. Upcoming Opportunity 2. 10 days later, in the process of searching for the demon clan altar, he discovers the ruins of a demon clan settlement. After a long search, he finds a small pool of primal mother crimson pulp. Upcoming Opportunity 3. 1 month later, while searching for the demon clan altar, he falls into a deep cavern and discovers some underground fire erupting at the bottom. After careful observation, he realizes that the underground fire erupts according to its own principles and contains true meaning. After several days of contemplation, he comprehends the heavenly grade superior.
Divine Rhythm Fire Visualization Diagram.
Upcoming Opportunity 4.
Some opportunities cannot be taken away no matter what you do. Let him be. In any case, I no longer need visualization diagrams myself.
Shen Mo stopped looking and focused on cultivating. He had already mastered the 4th layer of the Void Demon-Slaying Sword Immortal Manual. There were still the 5th and 6th layers left. If he could master the 6th layer, he could summon 6 Void Ancient Swords in a single move. Combined with the Divine Thunder Force, the power would surpass what it was before. Additionally, his current cultivation was only at the Great Achievement stage of the Dharma Manifestation realm, leaving room for further improvement. Beyond that, he still needed to comprehend the power of the void through the Qingxuan Blood Spirit Light. Each of these matters required his time to understand, perceive, and cultivate. So, rather than worry about others, it was better to focus on himself. A month later, Shen Mo used the
1,000 Faces, Myriad Appearances record
to change his appearance and left the Qingxuan 61st outpost. There were only 2 outposts at the 6th layer, making them extremely important. As a result, 3 Dharma Manifestation Realm experts, Shen Mo, Xingling, and Bai Ju, were stationed there long-term. The 5th layer also had 2 permanent Dharma Manifestation Realm experts. In an emergency, they would immediately come to provide support. With Shen Mo's impressive record and immense strength, his presence was like a stabilizing pillar for all. Therefore, he could not leave openly. He had to change his appearance before departing. Only in this way would he avoid causing unrest among the demon suppression guards. After Shen Mo left the 6th layer, he arrived at the 5th layer. At present, over 40 outposts had been established on the 5th layer. Each outpost was spaced far apart like beacons in the darkness, nearly covering the entire 5th layer. Shen Mo reached a deserted, uninhabited wasteland. Only then did he take out 2 items: the heaven-opening sword and the earth-splitting armor. Of course, the earth-splitting armor was still incomplete. One piece remained missing. Even so, Shen Mo didn't waste any time and instead instructed Haiyan to quickly condense spiritual essence. After a month of effort, the heaven-opening sword's blood essence and the earth-splitting armor's spiritual essence had both been fully prepared. Now was the moment to fuse the blood essence and spiritual essence into one, activate the Qingxuan Blood Spirit Light, and sense the power of the void.
Master, I'm a little worried.
Haiyan rumbled. Shen Mo was taken aback.
What are you worried about?
Haiyan said anxiously.
I'm worried about your safety. The Martial Ancestor's physical body was incredibly powerful, yet even he was severely injured the first time he sensed the power of the void.
You definitely aren't as strong as the Martial Ancestor. I'm afraid you'll get hurt even worse. I don't want to lose my master again.
Chapter 512, second fusion of the Qingxuan blood spirit light. Shen Mo patted the earth-splitting armor.
Haiyan, don't worry, don't think I'm weak. I'm at least as strong as your former master, if not stronger.
The heaven-opening sword spirit, Xiling, let out a cold snort but said nothing. Haiyan replied respectfully.
Since Master says so, I believe you.
Master, rest assured, if anything happens to you, I will do everything in my power to protect you. Even if it means sacrificing my spirit, I won't hesitate.
Shen Mo was a bit surprised. To sacrifice one's spirit. It meant permanent annihilation. Even if reborn, the artifact's spirit would never again be who it was before. Clearly, in Haiyan's eyes, this new master meant a great deal.
Don't worry, Dad, I'm here too.
Sui Xing circled Shen Mo, displaying a line of text.
Master, me too, me too.
The Tei demon armor's spirit, Tai also chimed in. However, with his sneaky demeanor, it was obvious he was up to no good.
Son, keep an eye on Tai.
Shen Mo said casually.
Okay.
Sui Xing answered cheerfully. Tai
Spiritual essence, blood essence, first attempt.
Haiyan immediately expelled the spiritual essence condensed within the earth-splitting armor. It took 100 units of spiritual power to condense a single strand of spiritual essence. Since the earth-splitting armor was still incomplete, condensing spiritual essence required even more spiritual power and more time. Even so, Haiyan perfectly fulfilled Shen Mo's task, condensing 3 strands of spiritual essence within the armor. Now, he very obediently released 1 strand of spiritual essence. Xiling was internally resistant. But when you're under someone's roof, you have to bow your head. After a brief hesitation, she also released a strand of blood essence. Under Shen Mo's control, the 2 forces wove together and merged in midair. However, they remained distinctly separate, refusing to blend into one another. After a moment, the spiritual essence was the first to give out, exploding and dissipating into the air. The first attempt at the Qingxuan blood spirit light ended in failure. Shen Mo grunted, staggered back several steps, and felt his blood surging within. He was in control of the spiritual and blood essences. So he also bore the consequences of failure. Still, his body was strong enough to withstand the backlash at this level.
A second time, let's go again.
Shen Mo took a deep breath, regulated his breathing, and in less than a quarter of an hour, gave the order once again. There wasn't much spiritual essence left. So every attempt had to be treasured. If all 3 attempts failed today, he would have to wait another month before trying again. The second attempt. Under Shen Mo's control, the blood essence and spiritual essence once again merged together like water. The balance between the 2 was extremely hard to maintain. One slip and everything would collapse. Shen Mo had experienced this before, back when he was merging with exotic flames. However, with exotic flames, he could try again and again.
Wait, maybe I can try this.
Chapter 513. Chapter 513. Masters past outlets divide the baggage and go our separate ways. Under the illumination of this light, even the surrounding air began to change slightly. It was like the warped and shifting air around a flame. Shen Mo's gaze grew sharp. Is this space itself? If not for a special method, a cultivator could spend their whole life bound by space. Only by using something like the Qingxuan blood spirit light could one become aware of the existence of space's barrier. You have to know it exists before you can break through it, control it, and change it. The Qingxuan blood spirit light itself remained motionless, but its radiance was drawn, pointing in a specific direction. Haiyan immediately spoke.
Master, that direction is where the nearest void vortex is located. You must be careful. If you instinctively sense danger, stop immediately. Never touch a void vortex. You can only observe and comprehend it from afar.
Shen Mo nodded slightly. With his left hand supporting the Qingxuan blood spirit light, he moved forward slowly. The Qingxuan blood spirit light guided his way. He proceeded, avoiding the outpost. Eventually, he arrived at the foot of a high mountain. A river flowed past here. There were even some overconfident aquatic demons in the river that launched attacks at Shen Mo. He casually dispatched them all. At first glance, nothing seemed out of the ordinary in this place. However, as soon as Shen Mo took a step in the direction indicated by the Qingxuan blood spirit light, a powerful sense of alarm surged in his heart. He stared intently ahead. There was an open space. Only a few scattered stones lay quietly on the ground.
Master, it seems you found it.
Haiyan said softly. Shen Mo nodded. He couldn't see anything, but he could sense a tremendous danger there. A little closer, and he would suffer severe injury. He felt a bit of relief fortunately. His own fate was quite extraordinary. Otherwise, if his fortune were too ordinary, he might have walked right in without realizing it. Shen Mo reached out across the void and drew over a massive boulder. With a palm strike, the boulder shattered into a large cloud of stone powder, which he wrapped in spiritual power and held in his palm. Then Shen Mo flung it forcefully. With a rush, the stone powder swept toward the open ground. Shen Mo immediately saw that the stone powder around the area all fell to the ground as normal. Only in the center did the stone powder vanish without a trace. That was clearly the precise location of the void vortex. The thing was, at least a visualization diagram could still be imagined. But this void vortex was formless and colorless, impossible to touch. How was he supposed to sense it or comprehend it?
Void!
A sudden flash of inspiration struck Shen Mo's mind. He flipped his palm. A void ancient sword suddenly appeared. Shen Mo separated a wisp of his divine sense, controlling the void ancient sword to fly straight forward. Sure enough, the moment the void ancient sword touched that area, he felt an intense pain. Not only in his soul, but in his physical body as well. The erosion of the void was truly terrifying. It could attack both soul and body at the same time. Rip! A wound suddenly split open on Shen Mo's pinky. Next was his ring finger, middle finger, index finger, thumb, palm, forearm.
Master, can you hear me?
Shen Mo did not respond at all. At once, Tai Er's mind started racing.
Master's past outlets divide the baggage and go our separate ways.
Chapter 514. Chapter 514. Master, I am absolutely loyal to you. Xiling spoke calmly.
I'm fine with anything, it doesn't matter to me.
Tai Er grinned.
Then what are we waiting for? Let's split up now, I don't want to hang around him every day. That 9-nether ice flame is too terrifying.
A line of text suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. Just try splitting up and see what happens. Tai Er was about to move when he realized that several sharp swords were pointed at his throat. Haiyan said calmly.
Master isn't dead, just unconscious. We can't split up.
Look, Master's eyes are open.
Tai Er followed the voice and saw Shen Mo looking at him calmly, eyes open. He instantly panicked. He gulped nervously, putting on a human-like display.
Master, it's not what you think, I swear. I'm loyal to you, absolutely.
Shen Mo was covered in blood, but a calm smile appeared at the corner of his mouth.
Tai Er, don't overestimate yourself. Don't forget what you really are.
Tai Er shuddered all over, nodding so hard his head nearly hit the ground like a pounding pestle. Yet his pitch-black eyes still darted about, sweeping over the wounds all over Shen Mo's body. Shen Mo smiled faintly, spiritual power surging, as he activated the Dharma manifestation of the undying river. Buzz! In just a moment, the wounds on Shen Mo's body began to heal at a speed visible to the naked eye. In less than 10 breaths, most of his wounds had already closed up. Tai Er was dumbfounded. Even Haiyan was quite astonished. He knew Shen Mo possessed this Dharma manifestation, but he never imagined it could have such terrifying regenerative power. After all, Shen Mo had never been injured this badly before. The Undying River Dharma manifestation's recovery ability had never truly been put to use. Haiyan was filled with emotion. No wonder the new master was so confident. So this was his trump card. He had to admit, in this respect, the new master really was stronger than the Martial Ancestor. Xiling still didn't say anything, but it was clear she too was feeling surprised. As for Tai Er, all he could do now was tremble. Shen Mo remained calm. The reactions of the artifact spirits were within his expectations. The Earthsplitter armor had only recently been acquired, so it wasn't aware. As for Xiling and Tai, they knew about it but weren't clear on just how powerful the Undying River Dharma manifestation truly was. Now at last they had witnessed it firsthand.
Continue.
Shen Mo flipped his palm, condensing another void ancient sword and thrusting it toward that tiny void vortex. Once again came a bone-deep, soul-wrenching pain. Once again his flesh split open, blood and flesh torn apart. But having experienced it once before, this time Shen Mo didn't pass out. He grit his teeth and endured. Then came the third time, the fourth, the fifth.
This is
Chapter 515. Chapter 515 caused a little bit of trouble. Shen Mo quietly immersed himself in comprehension. Gradually, he began to grasp the wondrous uses of the power of the void. It was like the embodiment of pure chaos and destruction. It could greatly enhance the might of any martial technique. However, its limitations were significant. A single strand of void power could only be used once. It could only serve as a trump card, not something to be used frequently. If he wanted to obtain more void power, he would have to use the Qingxuan Blood Spirit Light to search for void vortices. Yet the Qingxuan Blood Spirit Light required the weaving and merging of both spiritual and blood essences. The entire process was terribly slow. This doomed void power to be extremely rare and precious. Haiyan exclaimed,
normally only Nirvana realm cultivators can master void power, but I didn't expect master, still only at the Dharma manifestation realm, to already grasp it.
Tai hurried to flatter.
Yes, master is amazing, far stronger than that so-called Martial Ancestor.
Xiling said nothing. A line of text appeared beside Sui Xing.
My dad is the strongest.
Shen Mo smiled faintly. Though the void power he now possessed was still weak, it was like a sprouting seedling. One day, it would grow into a towering tree. Shen Mo believed that day wasn't far off. Another month passed. In the depths of the 6th level of the Demon Suppression Sea. Amidst the profound darkness, suddenly the sound of violent commotion echoed out. With a thunderous crash, the dome above shattered and the ground collapsed. A figure on the right moved like an agile ape, leaping nimbly among countless boulders and deep pits. The figure on the left was rather stout. When faced with smaller rocks, he simply barreled through them with brute force. These two were Wang Xing'an and Yi Yan. Relying on Yi Yan's astonishing luck, they had already located the exact position of a demon altar. And they'd caused a bit of mischief. They had emptied the blood pool. This greatly delayed the revival time of the undying demon emperor's severed body parts. However, they were instantly discovered by the demon emperors guarding the site. Fortunately, Wang Xing'an and Yi Yan were prepared. They immediately used a small teleportation talisman to widen the distance. The only thing was, almost all of the 6th level was demon territory. Only near the entrance, where 2 outposts stood, could barely be considered the domain of the demon suppression fortress. Even after using the small teleportation talisman, the two could only temporarily evade the brunt of pursuit. They were soon discovered by more demon clans. And so,
Damn humans, you must die.
a furious roar came from behind. A massive spear, shrouded in thick demonic energy, pierced through a giant boulder and shot toward them. Wang Xing'an's scalp went numb. He immediately pulled out his life-saving trump card. The sword concealment talisman. He poured a wisp of spiritual power into the talisman and hurled it behind him. Clang! An ancient, majestic sword suddenly shot out, slashing toward the demon's spear. Boom! The massive spear was instantly reduced to dust. The void ancient sword didn't lose any momentum and continued slashing toward the demon emperor. The demon emperor reacted swiftly and dodged in haste. But the demons behind him had no time to react. Under the void ancient sword, over 10,000 true demon venerates were instantly cleaved in two, leaving the ground littered with demon corpses and blood.
Holy crap, amazing!
Chapter 516. Chapter 516, Shen Mo's urge to save others will surely lead him into the trap.
I'll tear you both apart with my own hands.
The demon emperor roared, accelerating as he charged after them. Wang Xing'an and Yi Yan dared not be careless. They ran for their lives with every ounce of strength they had. In the distance, the fourth great sky demon and Zhou stood silently, with a demon offspring by his side. This demon was named Qingxuan, one of Zhou's most talented descendants. His body carried more than half the bloodline of a great sky demon. Now, he had already reached the threshold of the demon emperor realm. And Qingxuan couldn't help but say,
Father Demon, why don't we act and kill those two human demon suppression guards? They got the location of the altar and even ruined the resurrection plan. If they escape back to the outpost alive, it's practically a slap in your face. You'd definitely be looked down upon by the other great sky demons.
and Zhou just smiled slightly.
Tell me, if they bring the altar's location back, how will the demon suppression fortress react?
And Qingxuan paused.
They'll send a Dharma manifestation realm expert to destroy the altar, maybe even destroy the great demon emperor's severed limbs.
And Zhou chuckled.
And who do you think will come?
A certain human's figure instantly flashed through Qingxuan's mind.
Shen Mo, it has to be Shen Mo.
He's said to be one of the very strongest among all Dharma manifestation realm experts. And Qingxuan couldn't help but add,
I've heard that on the bounty list, Shen Mo's name has already risen to the top 3, just below Shi Tian and Ao Guang. Lord and Kang and Lord and Chen have both added great demon emperor blood as bounty. Especially Lord and Kang He even offered 3 drops of great demon emperor blood.
And Zhou smiled.
Exactly. If we can kill Shen Mo, that's a full 8 drops of great demon emperor blood. With that, I'd have a chance to break through to the peak of the demon emperor realm.
And Qingxuan instantly understood, his eyes lighting up.
So you mean?
And Zhou nodded approvingly.
That's right, it's a classic human tactic. Now, we'll turn it around and use it against the humans.
And Qingxuan agreed wholeheartedly, nodding in approval. However, hearing the low roars from the distance, he pointed toward the departing demon emperor.
Father Demon, what about in Zhenlong? He's completely lost it. We're not far from the outpost now. I'm worried.
And Qingxuan said quietly. And Zhou replied calmly.
I know what you're concerned about. Shen Mo's strength is formidable. You're worried that Anlong will die at Shen Mo's hands.
And Qingxuan nodded awkwardly. They had long since witnessed just how terrifying Shen Mo was. In the past, even the third great sky demon and Mai had died at Shen Mo's hands. None of these demon emperors possessed the power of authority. Up against Shen Mo, they'd almost certainly be at a disadvantage. And Zhou spoke calmly.
Let me tell you, he will definitely die.
And Qingxuan was stunned. And Zhou continued.
He's been cursed with the evil curse power. There are very few Dharma manifestation realm experts who could kill him, and the biggest target is Shen Mo. As long as he dies, I can unleash a curse kill on Shen Mo. Perhaps I won't be able to kill Shen Mo outright, but I will definitely be able to inflict serious injury. The poison of the evil curse will linger in his body. In this way, our plan to lure the enemy deeper will succeed.
Upon hearing this, and Qingxuan felt even greater admiration.
Your evil curse power is truly the most sinister, most vicious, and hardest to detect among the 10 types of authority. That Shen Mo, driven to save others, is sure to fall for it.
And Zhou nodded.
As long as we can wound Shen Mo, sacrificing one demon emperor is nothing.
Chapter 517, the life panel has undergone a small change. Qingxuan 6-1 outpost. It had just gone through a fierce battle. Compared to the usual, the scale of this fight wasn't particularly big or small. It could only be considered a routine siege by the demon clan. Inside the outpost, most of the demon suppression guards were collapsed on the ground, gasping for breath as they rested. Many of the guards, even though covered in injuries, still grit their teeth and endured the pain.
Old Li isn't here, he must have died. When will days like this ever end? Trying to establish an outpost on the 6th level is too difficult. I'm worried we won't be able to complete the mission set by the will of heaven. If we really can't complete it, will we be erased?
Some of the demon suppression guards spoke in low, dejected voices. The more they talked, the more hopeless the future seemed. Beneath the city walls, heaps of demon corpses were piled up. All the guards whose injuries weren't too serious were put in charge of burning the demon corpses. These corpses would be thrown into the demon-burning furnace and reduced to ashes. This was to prevent the demons from making use of them again. The guards weren't particularly motivated in their work. It was more like muddling through the day just to get by. Shen Mo stood atop the wall, staying vigilant against the distant demon clan to protect the guards burning the demon corpses. With the strength of the Dharma manifestation realm, he could see and hear everything clearly. He didn't speak. Everyone was an individual. Their thoughts were their own. Shen Mo couldn't change them. In fact, Shen Mo guessed that not just the guards, but even the demon suppression general probably had similar feelings. The future looked bleak.
If I count the time, Wang Xingyan and Yi Yan should be back soon.
Shen Mo glanced at his life panel. When he woke up this morning, he found that the panel had changed slightly. His destiny had shifted a little, and several turning points seemed to be approaching. Name: Shen Mo. Realm: late-stage Dharma manifestation realm. Fate: attributes: son of an apothecary, one hearing 1,000 insights, sword Dao prodigy, blessed by good fortune, Tei Hunyuan physique, protected by luck, demon suppression general. Destiny: 10 years from now, you will be halted at the peak of the Dharma manifestation realm. The undying demon emperor will return to the world, and demonic energy will engulf the demon suppression sea. Shen Mo will be defeated by the undying demon emperor, struck down to the 9th layer of the sea's depths, body destroyed, Dao perishing. Upcoming turning point 1. Today, after the demon clan's assault on the city, you will witness Wang Xingyan and Yi Yan being chased by a demon emperor. Step in to save them and slay the demon emperor. However, you will be afflicted by the curse power within the demon emperor, suffering severe injuries. The 9 nether ice flame, in order to dispel the curse power, will exhaust itself and fall into slumber. Upcoming turning point 2. In a few days, you will go with Zhu Xuanji, Bai Liaoyu, Xingling, Bai Ju, and other Dharma manifestation realm powerhouses to the demon clan's altar, but will be ambushed midway by the 4th and 6th great sky demons and a horde of demon emperors. Xingling and Bai Ju will die, Zhu Xuanji will fall unconscious, Bai Liaoyu will be heavily wounded, and Shen Mo will also be gravely injured. Everything below your waist will be lost. Forced to burn the Dharma manifestations of Undying River and Zai Bai Ju, you will narrowly escape with your life, but your foundation will be damaged from then on. Upcoming opportunity.
The curse power looks like it's in Zhou, pulling off a sneak attack.
Chapter 518. One spear breaks 2 dragons. At this moment, the ground suddenly began to tremble faintly. Shen Mo looked toward the east. That direction led to the demon clan's heartland. Many demon palaces stood there. Among them were the 4th demon palace and the 6th demon palace. Those were the residences of Zhou and Chen.
Did you feel that? The ground seems to be shaking. It's coming from that way. Isn't that the demon clan's territory? There are demon palaces over there. Strange, why would there be tremors from that direction?
Among the demon suppression guards, those with decent strength also sensed something was off. All of them turned their attention to the east. Even the 2 demon emperors in the distance muttered and looked in that direction. A thought stirred in Shen Mo's mind. He immediately activated the blazing heaven eye Dharma manifestation. A massive, fiery red eye wreathed in flames suddenly rose up. Shen Mo's vision reached an astonishing level in that instant. At a glance, he could see what was happening far in the distance. Boom! He saw a vast, mighty spear wrapped in demonic energy suddenly shatter the rock wall. 2 figures tumbled out with startled cries. It was Wang Xingyan and Yi Yan. Huge chunks of demonic rock plummeted to the ground. It looked like a meteor shower. A demon emperor suddenly gave chase. With a furious roar.
Damn humans, stay here. Old Shen, save us, save us.
Wang Xingyan shouted at the top of his lungs. They were still 10,000 zhang from the Qingxuan 61 outpost. But Wang Xing'an and Yi Yan had already used up their sword concealment talismans. Now they were at the end of their rope.
Stop them, they destroyed the altar.
And Zhenlong roared. The two observing demon emperors in the distance were startled at these words. They immediately ordered a forward assault. With a single order, a flood of demon soldiers pressed forward. The demon clan became like a wall, blocking the way between Wang Xing'an, Yi Yan, and the outpost.
I told you you must die.
And Zhenlong sneered. Within the Qingxuan 61 outpost, some of the demon suppression guards also sensed something was wrong.
Didn't the demon clan just fight us? Why are they sending troops again? No, look, they don't seem to be charging at us but blocking someone else. The tremors just now came from that direction.
Xingling and Bai Ju rushed from the city wall, coming to stand beside Shen Mo.
Brother Shen.
Bai Ju said softly. The three of them, all Dharma manifestation realm cultivators, had known each other a long time. Especially Bai Ju, who never put on airs around Shen Mo. Shen Mo wasn't arrogant either. The two got along well. Bai Ju always called Shen Mo
Brother,
in daily life.
it's Commander Wang and Commander Yi coming back. Judging by the situation, they must have discovered the demon clan's altar.
Shen Mo said seriously.
You two guard the outpost, I'll go rescue them.
Before Xingling and Bai Ju could reply, he stamped down hard on the wall and shot off like a bolt of lightning. Xingling smacked his lips.
Old Bai, do you think he'll be all right going alone? There are 3 demon emperors over there.
There might even be a sovereign hiding in ambush.
Bai Ju shook his head.
I don't know, let's get ready to support him. Old Xing, don't hold back just because you're a beastman and he's human.
Xingling shook his head.
Don't worry, I know what's important.
Whoosh! Shen Mo activated the Zai Bai Ju Dharma manifestation and used the treading sky phantom step. Like a creature moving through the void. The demon clan could only see a flash of white light. Shen Mo had already appeared 1,000 zhang away.
Attack together, stop him.
The two demon emperors exchanged glances and charged in from left and right. Demonic energy erupted, forming 2 wild dragons that came crashing down. Shen Mo's expression didn't change, and a vast ancient spear had already formed in his hand. Liu Yongquin Divine Spear.
Out of my way.
Chapter 519, I can't kill you but you can't protect them either. The 2 demon emperors suddenly turned pale. Their cultivation was not low, they had already reached the middle stage of the demon emperor realm. That attack just now had been their full-strength strike. And yet Shen Mo shattered it with a single spear.
You two, get out of my way as well.
With a wave of his hand, Shen Mo's palm condensed another Biluo Huanquan spear. His right arm muscles bulged, explosive power surging forth. The divine spear pierced through the air, like a bolt of lightning that claimed lives. The looks on the demon emperor's faces were no longer shock, but fear. It was their first time seeing a human who could unleash a second such powerful technique in such a short span. Normally, high-powered techniques can't be used continuously, right? But for Shen Mo, this rule seemed not to apply.
Dodge quick!
The demon emperor on the left shouted. The 2 demon emperors scrambled to evade, one left, one right. But the Biluo Huanquan spear was still a step faster. With a single strike, it pierced through the left side of one demon emperor and the right side of the other. They grunted, half their bodies exploding into a rain of blood and flesh. Their bodies plummeted from the sky toward the ground, smashing into the demon clan below. Many lesser demons didn't even have time to cry out before they were pulverized into pulp. The true demon lords who had been blocking the way were filled with dread. Those were demon emperors. And they'd been so easily and severely wounded. If they got in the way of this Dharma manifestation realm cultivator, they wouldn't just be severely injured. They'd be buried on the spot. Nothing would be left of them. True demons were different from lesser demons. Lesser demons would recklessly charge forward, unafraid of death. But true demons always calculated before acting. They had the emotions any living creature should have.
Out of the way!
Shen Mo gave a low shout, his voice rolling forth like a tidal wave. Wherever it passed, all the true demon lords bowed their heads in fear and stepped aside. A few foolish lesser demons tried to charge at him. But under that roar, their flesh was stripped away inch by inch, leaving nothing but bare bones. Across the vast battlefield, among millions of demons, not a single one dared block Shen Mo's path. Wang Xing'an and Yi Yan saw Shen Mo rushing over, and their faces lit up with joy. Even if Yi Yan didn't like Shen Mo, at this moment Shen Mo was coming to save him, and he was happy. As for Wang Xing'an, that went without saying. He had long considered himself Shen Mo's man.
Shen Mo, there's still another demon emperor behind us.
Wang Xing'an shouted. Shen Mo nodded.
I know, you two go on ahead.
The next moment his speed exploded, and he swept past Wang Xing'an and Yi Yan, charging straight toward Zhenlong. And Zhenlong roared.
Shen Mo, you again, you deserve to die, all humans deserve to die.
He pounded his chest, and blood spurted wildly from his mouth. Instantly, demonic energy raged around him like fire, soaring up to the sky. It was terrifying to behold.
I can't kill you, but you can't protect them either.
And Zhenlong roared madly. His huge, muscular body shriveled at a visible speed. But the demonic energy around him burned even fiercer. He was sacrificing all his future potential, just to kill Wang Xing'an and Yi Yan.
Million evil spirits!
And Zhenlong bellowed. Demonic energy condensed into countless evil spirits, surging toward Shen Mo, Wang Xing'an, and Yi Yan. Those ferocious, savage spirits let out blood-chilling laughter as they pounced. Even the demon suppression guards far away in the outpost felt a bone-chilling cold.
That move is so strong. That demon emperor must have used up all his blood essence to unleash it. He's covered General Shen and the others with this attack. If General Shen wants to protect himself, he won't have time to look after Commander Wang and Commander Yi. Damn, that demon emperor is vicious. This move is too sinister.
Chapter 520. You don't really think a demonic technique of this level can harm me, do you? And Zhenlong was betting that Shen Mo would be forced to protect himself, and thus unable to look after Wang Xing'an and Yi Yan. If so, he could kill both Wang Xing'an and Yi Yan and achieve his goal.
Father Demon, I wasn't able to complete the mission or ensure the altar's safety.
Father Demon, I wasn't able to complete the mission or ensure the altar's safety. But I will make these two humans pay with their lives. As long as they die, the demon suppression guards still won't find the exact location of the altar. And Zhenlong let out a strange laugh, full of a sense of mission. Wang Xing'an stared at the endless tide of ferocious evil spirits charging toward them, his face pale. He could sense that every single evil spirit was as strong as he was. Now, there were hundreds of thousands of evil spirits in the sky. Even if Shen Mo wanted to save him, it would be impossible to cover everything and kill all the evil spirits. Yi Yan also trembled inwardly at the sight. He secretly wished Shen Mo would just disappear.
Why couldn't someone else have come to rescue us? Why did it have to be you? If you hadn't shown up and pushed him this far, would the demon emperor have used such a desperate move?
Resentment filled Yi Yan's heart. In his eyes, everything about his current predicament was Shen Mo's fault. He even wondered if Shen Mo had come here on purpose, forcing the demon emperor to go all out, using the enemy's hand to kill him. He did have a trump card that could let him escape, but it would mean sacrificing Lin Hu. But Lin Hu was a martial spirit. He aided Yi Yan's cultivation and allowed Yi Yan to understand martial arts and techniques more deeply. To give up Lin Hu so easily would be a waste, since it meant sacrificing his own future potential. Lin Dongshan also felt the threat of death. He growled,
Don't think about it anymore. Lin Hu is ready to make the sacrifice. So long as we survive, there's hope for the future. As long as we live, we can try again.
Yi Yan gritted his teeth. Just then, a calm voice rang out.
You don't really think a demonic technique of this level can harm me, do you?
Wang Xing'an and Yi Yan both stared in astonishment at the source of the voice. It was Shen Mo. By now, Zhenlong's body was shriveled like a dried-out gourd, barely able to stay in the air. But he still looked at Shen Mo, his expression confused, as if asking, "What are you so confident about?"
Suixing Tae protect them.
Shen Mo casually pointed. A scroll of sword scripture and a suit of armor flew from his storage ring, rushing toward Yi Yan and Wang Xingen. Then two artifact spirits appeared. One was an ugly little child, the other a small flying sword. Tae controlled the Tae demon armor and in a flash, wrapped Wang Xingen inside. Just as Wang Xingen was about to say thank you, Tae spoke in a tempting voice.
Commander Wang, do you desire power?
Wang Xingen. Nearby, Suixing wrote a line in the air.
Don't worry, Dad told me to keep you safe. I'll make sure everything goes smoothly. These evil spirits look scary, but they're actually useless.
As Suixing finished, the Zhantian sword scripture released a streak of ink-black sword energy, slicing a charging evil spirit clean in half. The creature shrieked and crumbled, vanishing completely. Yi Yan was shaken to his core. What was this? Artifact spirits. A spiritual artifact capable of producing artifact spirits had to be a heaven-tier artifact. Shen Mo had produced 2 heaven-tier artifacts at once, both with artifact spirits. Incredible. Lin Dongshan couldn't help but say.
Shen Mo's luck is unbelievable. We've never even gotten a heaven-tier artifact, and he has 2 both with artifact spirits.
Yi Yan muttered.
No wonder he's so fearless. He was prepared from the start.
Under the eyes of countless demons and demon suppression guards, Shen Mo looked at Zhenlong and said calmly.
Now it's your turn.
Chapter 521, One Sword Executes the Demon Emperor. And Zhenlong's expression, which had just relaxed, suddenly tensed up again.
A weapon spirit, and it's this powerful.
He was utterly shocked. He'd never expected this turn of events. But it wasn't really his fault. After all, not every Dharma manifestation stage expert could casually pull out 2 heaven-grade spiritual weapons, both with weapon spirits. Without such experience, it was easy to misjudge.
Evil spirits devour the body.
And Zhenlong roared, squeezing out the last bit of demonic energy in his body, and drove a storm of evil spirits at Shen Mo. In an instant, the sky was filled with endless, savage, ferocious evil spirits. Ghostly wails and howls rang out as they bared their fangs. It was as if they wanted to tear Shen Mo's soul to shreds, never to find peace for all eternity.
This is what I've been waiting for. Blazing Heavens, Dharma manifestation. Qingxuan blood spirit light.
Shen Mo showed no fear. With a low shout, blood essence and spiritual energy burst out from the heaven-opening sword and the earth-splitting armor. At the same time, the blazing heavens Dharma manifestation appeared. Everything in the world seemed to slow down, and in his eyes, nothing could remain hidden. With such meticulous control, blood essence and spiritual energy merged together effortlessly. Perfectly fused, inseparable. In an instant, a ray of light burst from Shen Mo's palm. Countless demons and demon suppression guards witnessed this scene, their gazes entranced. Buzz! The color of this light was extremely strange. It seemed to reflect all things under heaven, the myriad faces of all living beings. Within it was a vast, mighty power. Yet it was extremely unstable, wild, and chaotic. It felt as if a single touch could set it off, blasting everything to dust.
Go!
Shen Mo let out a low cry, sending the Qingxuan blood spirit light forward. At first glance, its speed seemed abnormally slow. But if you looked closely, it was actually unimaginably fast. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow, contradictory, and unpredictable. Countless evil spirits, a million vicious souls, were instantly enveloped by the Qingxuan blood spirit light. Boom! Wails of agony rang out from the evil spirits. Wherever the Qingxuan blood spirit light passed, the evil spirits melted away like snowmen in the sun, vanishing without a trace. Even more frightening, it had an irresistible pull. Some evil spirits tried to flee but couldn't escape. They could only watch as they were melted away by the Qingxuan blood spirit light. And Zhenlong's eyes went wide. He simply couldn't accept what he was seeing. He'd used up all his blood essence and unleashed his strongest attack. And yet it was broken so easily by the opponent. Shen Mo let out a low cry, sending the Qingxuan blood spirit light forward. At first glance, its speed seemed abnormally slow. But if you looked closely, it was actually unimaginably fast. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow, contradictory and unpredictable. Countless evil spirits, a million vicious souls, were instantly enveloped by the Qingxuan blood spirit light. Boom! Wails of agony rang out from the evil spirits. Wherever the Qingxuan blood spirit light passed, the evil spirits melted away like snowmen in the sun, vanishing without a trace. Even more frightening, it had an irresistible pull. Some evil spirits tried to flee but couldn't escape. They could only watch as they were melted away by the Qingxuan blood spirit light. And Zhenlong's eyes went wide. He simply couldn't accept what he was seeing. He'd used up all his blood essence and unleashed his strongest attack. And yet it was broken so easily by the opponent. Now it's your turn. Shen Mo's gaze was calm. With a twist of his palm, an ancient, boundless sword appeared. It was the Void Ancient Sword. Go! In an instant, the Void Ancient Sword shot through the air. One moment it was in Shen Mo's hand, the next it was right in front of Zhenlong. Before this demon emperor could react, the Void Ancient Sword pierced straight through his chest. His demon heart was instantly dragged out. A spray of demon blood shot out like a fountain, gushing nearly 100 meters.
So fast, killing him is no different from slaughtering pigs or dogs.
Wang Xingyan clicked his tongue in amazement. Floating beside Sui Xing, a line of text appeared.
Hey, that's my dad. How could he not be strong? Why is that demon emperor's body floating in midair instead of falling to the ground? That's strange.
Wang Xingyan noticed something odd. It wasn't just him, both the demon suppression guards and the demons sensed something was wrong.
What's that?
Chapter 522, Sacrificial Curse Killing Using a Demon Emperor as Bait. On one part of the battlefield, Zhou and Qingxuan stood quietly together. Zhou's appearance was like that of a giant shark, with 8 pairs of arms and legs on his abdomen. However, he kept 2 pairs hidden, showing only 6. He had also deliberately shrunk his body considerably. This appearance made him look no different from the golden-crowned true demon lords under his command. There were many such true demon lords on the battlefield. No other demons paid much attention to him. At this moment, there was a faint cluster of black mist in Zhou's palm. With a thought, it squirmed like a worm. In the air, faint threads of black mist were also emerging from Zhenlong's corpse. At first, there were only a few. But in the blink of an eye, they became as numerous as cow's hair. A closer look showed that it wasn't black mist at all. It was actually countless tiny black insects. They buzzed and searched for a target. Shen Mo was closest to Zhenlong's corpse. Thousands upon thousands of black insects immediately swarmed toward Shen Mo. Zhou smiled.
The power of evil curses has many forms. The one I use most often is medium curse kill, which requires an item connected to the target. The benefit of medium curse kill is that it doesn't require authority power. You can curse kill from a distance very convenient. This time, though, is a sacrificial curse kill.
Qingxuan was surprised.
Sacrificial curse kill? I've never heard you mention this before.
Zhou smiled.
Because I only discovered this method a few years ago and have gradually mastered it.
Sacrificial curse kill doesn't require a target's belongings, but it does need a sacrifice.
The quality and quantity of the sacrifice directly determines the damage the curse can inflict.
Qingxuan seemed thoughtful.
So if you sacrifice a demon emperor, you can definitely curse kill a heaven-grade demon suppression guard.
Zhou nodded slightly.
Exactly. And since Zhenlong was killed personally by Shen Mo, using Zhenlong as the medium to curse Shen Mo will be even more effective. Just watch, I'll make Shen Mo truly taste suffering.
Qingxuan was even more admiring. In the past, there were great sky demons who tried to kill Shen Mo. But Shen Mo always managed to escape. But now, at such close range, using a demon emperor as a sacrifice, Shen Mo would definitely suffer a fate worse than death.
It's time, curse skill.
And Zhou called out. Countless black insects swarmed toward Shen Mo. Shen Mo tried to defend with spiritual power and blood energy. But he found these black insects had no substance at all. They easily passed through all his spiritual and blood-based techniques, heading straight for him.
No wonder in my destined fate, I was ultimately schemed against by Zhou. This kind of curse skill is truly impossible to guard against. In a rush, there's really no good way to evade it.
Shen Mo quickly retreated, dodging the countless black insects. In that original fate, after suffering this curse, the 9 nether ice flame within him fell into deep slumber and never awoke. But now he was prepared. To deal with a curse skill, you don't necessarily have to counter the evil curse power directly. As long as you can kill the one casting the curse, you can break it as well. What Shen Mo needed to do now was to find Zhou among the countless demons. He knew with such a powerful technique, Zhou had to be nearby, hiding somewhere among the demon army.
Zai Ju Dharma manifestation.
Chapter 523, Damn, he actually noticed. Shen Mo circled the battlefield several times, gradually narrowing down the area. He noticed an utterly ordinary-looking true demon. At first glance, it seemed completely unremarkable, no different from any other true demon lord. But on closer inspection, its demon life panel was totally different. It was, in fact, the fourth great sky demon Zhou. Even without the cheat ability to see status panels, Shen Mo could have used a blanket bombardment in this area to force Zhou out. Zhou could never have imagined that, despite his perfect disguise, Shen Mo had already seen through him.
There you are.
Shen Mo shouted and suddenly hurled the Biluo Yellow Springs divine spear, blasting a cluster of demons into dust not far away.
Here.
He hurled another divine spear. Boom, boom, boom. The divine spears fell like meteors, smashing the demon army into chaos, making them wail in terror and flee in panic. Zhou sneered. Shen Mo looked exactly like someone who hadn't pinpointed his location and was just lashing out at random. Such attacks, to Zhou's eyes, were nothing but a waste of blood energy. Qingxuan also muttered quietly.
Father Demon, everyone says Shen Mo is some cool-headed, decisive human expert. Now that I see him in person, he doesn't live up to his reputation at all.
Zhou didn't reply, but he clearly agreed with Qingxuan's assessment. He had no idea that Shen Mo was only creating confusion, quietly building up power in secret. Another 100 breaths passed, and Zhou gradually began to feel something was wrong. Shen Mo's random attacks from above were drawing ever closer to his position. Although the human Dharma manifestation expert hadn't pinpointed his exact spot, Zhou was already growing wary. His right hand still manipulated the evil curse, attacking Shen Mo with the curse skill. But his other hands were secretly gathering demonic energy, just in case.
Primal Elephant Dharma manifestation. Void Ancient Sword.
At a certain moment, Shen Mo's power reached its peak. He shouted. Above his head, a roaring, universe-suppressing primal elephant appeared. Its long trunk curled upward, as if it could drain the entire starry river. A surge of divine thunder rushed out, instantly forging 5 void ancient swords. The 5 swords fused into one, becoming a single, supremely condensed, terrifyingly powerful sword. The primal elephant's trunk curled and gripped this fused void ancient sword tightly. With an explosion of strength, the trunk hurled the sword out. Boom! The void ancient sword tore through the air, chasing stars, racing the moon. It seemed capable of overtaking even time itself.
Kill!
Shen Mo gave a low cry. The void ancient sword shot straight toward Zhou. Zhou's heart jolted, cursing.
Damn, he actually found me.
He was forced to halt his curse skill and immediately struck out with his other hands, unleashing demonic arts. Buzz! Dozens of vicious souls suddenly appeared, shielding him. This was one of Zhou's defensive techniques for soul barrier. Anyone he killed with a curse would eventually become one of these vicious souls, lingering within his body. Normally, these souls wouldn't appear. But whenever he was attacked and demonic energy surged, they would instantly emerge to shield him. Any target worthy of being curse-killed by Zhou had been exceptionally powerful. With a glance, Shen Mo saw that among these vicious souls were former genius demon suppression guards, talented demons, and even a demon suppression general. Yet now they'd all become fierce souls, mere tools for Zhou's defense.
See this? These were once the demon suppression fortress's finest guards and generals. The only mark they left in this world is now this single fierce soul. Are you really going to wipe out even their last traces of existence?
Chapter 524. I am the master of authority, I'll never die here. And Zhou deliberately infused his voice with demonic energy. His words echoed far and wide. Inside the outpost, the weaker demon suppression guards couldn't see what was happening between Shen Mo and Zhou. But figures like Zhang Beisheng and the other heaven-ranked demon suppression guards, if they focused, could still see the true battle. At a glance, they recognized those vicious souls and their identities. Next to Zhang Beisheng, a tall commander cried out,
Maz!
But before he could finish, Zhang Beisheng quickly covered his mouth. Zhang Beisheng whispered,
That's not your master. It's just a vicious soul forged by Zhou.
The tall commander's eyes dimmed as he understood. Their master had been curse-killed long ago. If he were still alive, there was no way he'd help Zhou defend against Shen Mo. What stood there was nothing but a lingering remnant, refined into a vicious soul by Zhou's evil curse power. In the end, Zhou was the one most deserving of death. Zhang Beisheng gave a low command.
All heaven-rank demon suppression guards, listen up. No matter what you see, it's all fake.
On the city wall, every heaven-rank demon suppression guard straightened and nodded heavily. Whether human, yokai, or flood dragon, anyone who reached the rank of heaven-rank demon suppression guard was no fool. They instantly realized that Zhou was speaking so loudly just to show them those vicious souls. Trying to tie Shen Mo's hands, to make Shen Mo hesitate. But Zhang Beisheng's warning had come just in time. As long as the heaven-rank demon suppression guards didn't say anything, the others wouldn't even notice the vicious souls. With that, Zhou's ploy was foiled.
Damn!
Zhou saw that the Qingxuan 6-1 outpost didn't react at all. He realized that someone had anticipated his scheme and killed it before it could spread, leaving no room for it to ferment. Shen Mo didn't look back. The moment he saw those vicious souls, he already understood Zhou's plan. Even if there were all sorts of voices from the outpost, even if Dharma manifestation stage experts begged him not to strike, he would still make his move. Showing weakness and mercy to the enemy is cruelty to yourself. On matters like this, Shen Mo never hesitated.
Execute the demon!
Shen Mo pointed his finger. The void ancient sword stabbed straight toward those vicious souls. They charged at him, fearless of death. Their eyes vacant. Bang! The first vicious soul was obliterated in an instant. Then the second, third, fourth.
I am a master of authority. I won't die here.
Zhou gave a low cry, grabbed Qingxuan, and threw him toward the void ancient sword. He himself used the recoil to shoot off into the distance. Qingxuan hadn't even reacted before the next instant. That razor-sharp, all-piercing void ancient sword was right in front of him. Chapter 525. 525 Chapter 525. As long as I can reach that place, 6 months ago. Chapter 525. As long as I can reach that place.
Trying to run.
Shen Mo sneered. Zhou was indeed fast. But compared to the Zibaiju, he was like a snail. Without hesitation, Shen Mo used his spiritual power to activate the Zibaiju manifestation. He was different from other manifestation realm experts. Normally, manifestation realm experts would only activate their manifestation twice in a single battle. Any more, and it would harm their foundation. Unless faced with a life-and-death situation, they would never activate their manifestation a third time lightly. But Shen Mo was different. His spiritual power was vast as the sea, his blood energy robust as a mountain, more than enough to support the consumption of manifestations. let alone 3 times, even 4 or 5 times he could still manage.
Zibai Ju manifestation. Heaven-stepping phantom step.
The moment the extraordinary Zibai Ju appeared, Shen Mo's feet seemed to be swept up by a violent wind. One moment he was in place. The next he appeared right behind Zhou. A sense of mortal danger suddenly struck Zhou's heart. The shadow of death enveloped him. Without thinking further, he flung out a large amount of curse powder from his bosom. He didn't hope to injure Shen Mo, just to slow him down. He knew full well his own strength. Though both were lords of authority, he specialized in long-range curse killing, not direct combat. Moreover, he'd expended a great deal of malediction power earlier to attempt a sacrificial curse killing. And he still failed to kill Shen Mo and had to stop. The heavy consumption of malediction power and demonic energy left him with no other choice. He could only run. Now, he dumped out all the curse powder he'd prepared over the years in one go. He had just one goal: delay Shen Mo and buy himself a chance to escape. Bang, bang, bang. The curse powder exploded. Various mists spread everywhere. Shen Mo immediately felt his whole body grow heavy. His head grew a little dizzy, his thoughts sluggish. His spiritual power and blood energy circulated poorly. His skin dried out, his muscles slackened and lost strength. It was as if endless negative effects piled onto him. All meant to slow him down, wear him out, kill him. Seeing the curse powder take effect, Zhou let out a strange laugh. But he didn't say anything more. Instead, he picked up speed and fled. As long as he could escape the battlefield and enter the depths of the 6th layer, he would survive.
As long as I can reach that place, as long as...
Zhou stared ahead. A demon palace was already faintly visible. That was the 6th demon palace and Chen's domain. With his own life at stake, Chen would surely not sit by and do nothing. Whoosh! The undying river manifestation appeared. Invisible currents washed over Shen Mo's body, sweeping away every negative effect. Shen Mo's speed soared to the limit. In a flash, he appeared right behind Zhou.
It's time to go.
Shen Mo's voice sounded like the voice of death. Zhou's body froze. In the next instant, the ancient sword of the void appeared out of nowhere and pierced straight through Zhou's chest. Icy white flames began burning from his chest. In an instant, they swallowed Zhou whole.
I know your demon heart is not your only one, so I let the 9 nether ice flame appear directly.
Chapter 526. Now it's time to charge forward and sweep all before us. Qingxuan 61 Outpost. A group of demon suppression guards gathered around Shen Mo, looking at him with deep admiration. It was as if they were gazing at an immortal or a god. Zhang Beisheng and the other commanders quickly came forward. Xingling and Baiju strode over, laughing heartily. Baiju said joyfully,
Brother Shen, amazing, amazing. I really didn't expect it. The 4th Grand Archdemon actually died at your hands.
Xingling rumbled.
That Zhou secretly used malediction power to kill off quite a few talented demon suppression guards. I remember, he even made a move against you.
This guy deserved to die.
Shen Mo smiled faintly. He had planned from the start to use this situation to kill Zhou. Everything had gone according to plan.
Let's see what Commander Wang and Commander Yi brought back. If they managed to enrage a demon emperor that much, they must have achieved something big.
Shen Mo said with a smile.
True enough.
Xingling and Baiju both nodded. A short while later, in the main hall of the Qingxuan 61 outpost. The doors were shut tight. Inside the hall, only Shen Mo, Xingling, and Baiju were present, along with Wang Xing'an and Yi Yan. After listening to Wang Xing'an and Yi Yan's report, Xingling and Baiju were visibly excited. Baiju grinned so widely, he could barely close his mouth.
Great, well done. You actually found the exact location of the demon altar.
Xingling slammed his paw down and burst into laughter.
You even drained the blood pool. Beautiful. Now, the resurrection of the undying demon emperor's body will be delayed again.
Shen Mo said.
There's no time to lose. Let's prepare a team and strike directly at their core.
Now that the location of the demon altar is exposed, the demons will definitely try to move the undying demon emperor's body as soon as possible.
We need to get there first, reach the demon altar and destroy it.
Xingling and Bai Ju stood up immediately. Xingling said in his deep voice.
I'll contact Boss Shishin.
Bai Ju said.
I'll reach out to Brother Tang and Brother Bai.
Chapter 527, Manifestation Realm Perfection of the True Blood Sacred King Body. Several months later, Qingxuan 61 Outpost. Inside a courtyard. Land at the outpost was extremely precious. Every inch had to be used for various buildings to resist the demons. Yet this courtyard was still built spacious enough. All kinds of formations were in place. No matter how much noise occurred inside the yard, not a sound would escape. At this moment, a figure was sitting, cross-legged at the center of the courtyard. Power surged, rosy light swirling around. There was even the faint rumble of muffled thunder. A phantom sword and the illusion of a burly man were circling around him. They were Sui Xing and Hai Yan. Hai Yan said worriedly,
It's been more than 10 days. I'm getting concerned. Why hasn't Master shown any sign of movement?
Sui Xing wrote a line of words.
I don't know either. Dad wasn't like this before. Maybe the demonic energy of the Lord of Authority is too much and hard to refine.
Hai Yan nodded in deep agreement.
That's true. Even the Martial Ancestor of old couldn't necessarily refine demonic energy, but Master can. I really found myself a good master.
In this respect, Master is far stronger than the Martial Ancestor.
Just then, the rosy light swirling around Shen Mo suddenly began to change violently. The thunder shifted from low and heavy rumbles to fierce, wild bolts, as if they were going to shatter the whole world into dust. Sui Xing flew about in excitement.
It's coming!
Hai Yan looked at Shen Mo, eyes full of anticipation. Buzz! A mighty, towering blood-red figure suddenly appeared. Like a giant supporting the heavens and earth, standing tall between heaven and earth. Majestic, indomitable, powerful as a Vajra, looking down on everything. No attack in the world seemed able to injure even his skin. The instant this figure appeared, Hai Yan and Sui Xing were so shocked they stumbled back. Hai Yan exclaimed,
Amazing! Has Master created another powerful new technique? Sui Xing, do you know what it is?
Sui Xing wrote a line of words.
No idea, but as long as Dad gets stronger, I'm happy.
Buzz! Shen Mo suddenly opened his eyes. A flash of blood-red light passed through his eyes. He smiled. After countless days and nights of relentless cultivation, after pouring in endless heavenly treasures.
Immovable sacred king body.
Just as the Biluo Yellow Springs divine spear was the advanced form of the soul-extinguishing blood reaver spear. The true blood sacred king body consumed even less blood essence, yet unleashed far more powerful defensive techniques. More importantly, after using the true blood sacred king body, he could move, he could attack. Unlike the immovable sacred king body, which could only stand still. Shen Mo estimated that when using this move, his whole body would become like a heaven-grade spirit artifact. And specifically, a heaven-grade artifact for defense. Its defensive power was astonishing.
My cultivation has also naturally reached the perfection of the manifestation realm. Excellent, excellent.
Chapter 528, 5 years remain.
The demon altars have been destroyed one after another, but the demons haven't made any moves. And the most important parts of the undying demon emperor, the head and heart, still haven't been seen. I wonder if there have been any changes to my life panel.
Shen Mo looked inward at his life panel. Destiny, stuck at the peak of the Dhamma manifestation realm. After your body is eroded by the void, you'll be unable to advance and will eventually die with regrets. Upcoming turning point. 5 years from now, the undying demon emperor will be resurrected, leading the demons to destroy 10 demon suppression fortresses. Countless demon suppression guards will die, Dhamma manifestation realm experts will fall one after another. Zhang Longxiang will block the undying demon emperor's strongest attack for Shen Mo. Shen Mo manages to escape with his life, and on the run encounters Yi Yan, forcing him to travel together into the void vortex. After suffering void erosion, by sheer luck he survives and reaches the greater world. Shen Mo pondered. 5 years. Is that the final deadline? He still hadn't stepped into the Nirvana realm, hadn't even reached the peak of the Dhamma manifestation realm. Time was running out. He had to improve as quickly as possible. Only with Nirvana realm cultivation could he contend with the undying demon emperor.
Zhang Longxiang.
Shen Mo was filled with emotion. Other Dhamma manifestation realm experts were each trying to find their own way to survive. Only Zhang Longxiang had always been protecting him. Just for this alone, Shen Mo would never forget the debt of gratitude.
Forcing Yi Yan to enter the void vortex with me, successfully reaching the greater world.
Shen Mo couldn't help but laugh when he saw that line. With Yi Yan's monstrous fortune, there was no way he'd die so easily. Once the undying demon emperor revived, this small world would inevitably be conquered by the demons and fall into ruin. Even if he fled to the ends of the earth, he'd still be found and killed. His only way to survive was to leave through the void vortex and go to the greater world. But without Nirvana realm cultivation, resisting void erosion was nothing but a fantasy. But Yi Yan was different. That guy would definitely make it to the greater world. As long as he dragged Yi Yan along, he'd have a chance to survive too. Of course, according to his fate, even if he reached the greater world alive, his foundation would still be severely damaged. He'd never have a chance to reach Nirvana realm again. As for Yi Yan, Shen Mo figured that guy would emerge from the void vortex completely intact, maybe even pick up a few great opportunities. Knock, knock, knock. There was a knock at the door. Shen Mo raised an eyebrow. A familiar voice called from outside the courtyard.
General Shen, General Zhu sent me to deliver 2 items for you.
It's the demon suppression thunderstone and the fusion gold mud you needed.
Shen Mo smiled.
Sister Qingxuan really is attentive. Come in.
A figure pushed the door open and respectfully walked up to Shen Mo. The man's expression was cold and handsome. It was Yi Yan. Shen Mo's gaze was steady, and Yi Yan didn't dare meet his eyes. In truth, if Zhu Xuanji hadn't insisted he deliver the treasures in person, he never would have come to Shen Mo on his own. Zhu Xuanji was determined to have him show his face more in front of Shen Mo to build some goodwill. That way, Shen Mo would help him out in the future.
Sister Zhu.
Yi Yan cursed inwardly. But a demon suppression general's orders weren't to be disobeyed, so he had no choice but to deliver the items.
Commander Yi, your cultivation has improved again. Are you trying to form your Dhamma manifestation?
Shen Mo smiled. Yi Yan forced a smile.
That's right, I've formed about half of it now. Very good, well done.
Chapter 529, Demon-Suppressing Thunderstone and Molten Gold Mud. Yi Yan was indeed blessed with extraordinary fortune. But no matter how great his fortune, he still needed enough strength to protect himself. Now that Yi Yan had grown stronger, Shen Mo was naturally pleased.
You've discovered the exact locations of quite a few demon clan altars during this time. That's a huge contribution. Many of the demon suppression guards at the outpost have been praising you.
Shen Mo said with a smile. Yi Yan felt a sense of pride upon hearing this. Over the years, it was he who had led the demon suppression guards to find those demon altars. It could be said that he played a part in the destruction of the undying demon emperor's severed limbs. The process of locating the altars had always been strange. Sometimes they would stumble upon a group of true demons transporting lesser demons, and by following them, they easily found the altars. Other times, they were being hunted by powerful demons and accidentally fell into underground caves. After wandering left and right, they somehow ended up right at a demon altar. Everything went smoothly, without much trouble. Clearly, his astonishing fortune had once again come into play. With such impressive merit, even Shen Mo was likely surprised. At this thought, Yi Yan couldn't help but puff out his chest and lift his chin, feeling deeply honored. But after a moment, he sensed something was off. Why should he feel honored just because he had earned Shen Mo's appreciation? That didn't make sense. Was it merely because Shen Mo was a cultivator at the Dharma manifestation realm, or because of his many war achievements? He himself was exceptionally gifted, blessed with heaven-defying fortune. Why should he be overshadowed by someone like Shen Mo? With that thought, Yan immediately threw away the feeling of being honored. He didn't need to feel honored by anyone's recognition. He was destined to surpass them all. Every last one of them, including Shen Mo, would eventually become nothing more than stepping stones for him. Shen Mo noticed the change in Yi Yan's expression and smiled faintly. Without saying much, he casually asked,
"Where's the item Sister Qingxuan asked you to bring?"
Yi Yan nodded and waved his hand. 2 boxes appeared in his palm. They were completely different in appearance. One was pure black and incredibly heavy. The other looked like flawless white jade. Yi Yan explained,
"The black box contains molten gold mud. This treasure can dissolve anything and must be stored in a container that has absolutely no metal. After careful consideration, General Zhu personally crafted this box from millennium-old cold yin wood to store the molten gold mud."
As he spoke, he opened the black wooden box, revealing a thick golden yellow substance inside. This was the molten gold mud, a top-grade heaven-tier treasure. Then Yi Yan opened the other box, which contained only a fist-sized, ordinary-looking black stone.
This contains the demon-suppressing thunder stone. Over countless years, it has absorbed divine thunder aura and now holds a suppressive effect on demons. General Zhu said that if we had enough demon-suppressing thunder stones, we could bury the #1 sky demon and Kang alive. Unfortunately, this item is incredibly rare. So far, General Zhu has only found this one piece.
Yi Yan continued,
The demon-suppressing thunder stone constantly releases energy, so it must be stored in a jade box.
This box is made from egret jade, specially chosen by General Zhu. After being infused with the aura of white egrets, it can completely seal in the thunder stone's energy and prevent leakage. Shen Mo nodded in satisfaction. He had only casually mentioned to Zhu Xuanji that he needed these treasures for alchemy. He hadn't expected her to actually send them over. Moreover, Zhu Xuanji had been extremely thoughtful. Both the molten gold mud and the demon-suppressing thunderstone were rare and invaluable. Even the containers used to store them were top-grade earth-tier treasures. Yet Zhu Xuanji spared no expense and had her most trusted subordinate deliver them personally. It was clear she highly valued her friendship with Shen Mo.
Go back and tell Sister Qingxuan. Thank her for the treasures.
Shen Mo said with a faint smile.
Understood.
Chapter 530, Low-Grade Saint-Tier Pill Golden Jade Pellet. Shen Mo glanced over, taking in Yi Yan's life panel at a glance. Upcoming Fortune 1. 1 month later, he successfully condenses the Divine Flame Dharma aspect and officially steps into the Dharma aspect realm. His status rises dramatically, earning the deep respect of the demon suppression guards. Upcoming Fortune 2. 4 months later, he leads the demon suppression guards to establish a new outpost, encountering resistance from the demon clan. After a great battle, he obtains a fragment of a low-grade saint-tier spiritual weapon from a demon emperor. After refining it into his personal sword, he successfully upgrades it into a low-grade heaven-tier spiritual weapon. Upcoming Fortune 3. 5 months later, he is ambushed by several demon emperors and fights fiercely for 3 days. His divine flame dharma aspect is activated repeatedly, eventually undergoing rebirth through fire and evolving into a top-grade heaven-tier aspect. His realm also breaks through to mid-stage dharma aspect realm. Upcoming Fortune 4. 1 year later, while chasing an injured demon emperor toward the southwest of the 6th layer, he unintentionally notices a strange glow. Upon searching, he discovers a tiny void vortex. Just as he's about to leave, the vortex expels a damaged void shuttle. Upcoming Fortune 5.
Next, it's time to begin refining the pill.
Shen Mo sat cross-legged and began drawing out various treasures from his storage ring. The demon-suppressing thunder stone, molten gold mud, and other materials were all ingredients for an incredibly rare pill. This pill was called the Golden Jade Pellet, a low-grade saint-tier pill. Its recipe did not originate from the ninefold alchemy canon. After all, the ninefold alchemy canon only included heaven-tier pills at most. The golden jade pellets formula came from the heavenly Tao treasury. Shen Mo had exchanged 30 grade A military merits for it. Like the Dharma aspect golden pill and the tame pure essence pill, this one was meant for cultivators in the Dharma aspect realm to consume and refine. However, the golden jade pellet placed extremely harsh demands on the physical body of its user. Ordinary cultivators couldn't withstand the immense pain and would faint during the process, wasting the pill's medicinal strength and defeating the purpose. It would be more loss than gain. Shen Mo, however, was different. Among those in the same realm, his physical toughness was second to none. The Dharma aspect golden pill and tame pure essence pill were no longer being refined. Their ingredients were extremely rare, and one might not see a single pill in over a century. Redeeming them from the heavenly Tao treasury was far too expensive. Even someone with Shen Mo's wealth couldn't afford that kind of cost. That was why Shen Mo chose the golden jade pellet. Its ingredients were relatively easier to acquire. The only two hard-to-find materials were the demon-suppressing thunderstone and molten gold mud. Now, Qingxuan had already delivered them to him.
Begin pill refinement. My realm has already reached the peak of the Dharma aspect realm. If I rely solely on natural treasures, progress will be too slow. I must rely on a saint-tier pill like the golden jade pellet to accelerate further and break into the nirvana realm within 5 years.
Chapter 531. The Saint Pill is formed, ascending as a saint-tier alchemist. Several days later, in Shen Mo's courtyard, he stared unblinkingly at the pill furnace, tension faintly rising in his heart. He had refined many pills before, but this was his first time attempting a saint-tier pill. Over the past few days, he had already failed twice. This was his third attempt. Saint-tier pill ingredients were not easy to come by. Shen Mo didn't want to fail a third time.
This is the moment of pill formation. Now comes the final step.
He exhaled a slow, steady breath and withdrew his palm. His spiritual energy retracted. The flames of the solar essence fire gradually weakened, eventually reducing to a faint, gentle flame that quietly burned. Buzz! Inside the pill furnace, the medicinal liquid was rapidly coalescing into a single pill. Shen Mo watched with anticipation. During his second attempt at refining the golden jade pellet, he had failed precisely at this moment during pill formation. He had lost control of the flame's intensity, causing the pill to shatter before it could take proper form. Such a result drastically weakened the medicinal potency while amplifying the toxic side effects, rendering the pill unusable. It would be a complete waste. Buzz, buzz, buzz. A string of low, resonant hums echoed from within the furnace, like a wild beast rampaging inside. Then suddenly, everything went quiet. A 7-colored radiance burst out of nowhere, shooting straight into the sky. A rich, fragrant medicinal aroma exploded from the furnace and spread in all directions. In just the blink of an eye, the entire courtyard became like a celestial paradise. Brilliant light danced, and the air was thick with an intoxicating fragrance. For cultivators 1 or 2 major realms below Shen Mo, staying in such an environment would extend lifespan and cure hidden ailments. Even an ordinary mortal, breathing in just 1 or 2 whiffs of the aroma, could awaken their spiritual roots and gain the potential to cultivate. However, both the light and the fragrance were sealed within the array formation and didn't leak a single trace outside. Shen Mo stepped forward to the pill furnace, a surge of excitement rising within. He lifted the lid in one swift motion. Inside lay a perfectly round, golden pill. This was the low-grade saint-tier pill golden jade pellet. The radiant light and spreading aroma from earlier were precisely the signs of a saint pill's successful formation. Had he not used an array to contain them, the entire outpost would have been enveloped. Such a disturbance would have brought unwanted attention. The demon clan would have received word and ramped up their efforts to eliminate him. That would only backfire. After all, there were many cultivators in the Dharma aspect realm. Each of the 10 demon suppression strongholds had 20 to 30 of them. But a pill master capable of refining saint-tier pills. Not even half a person across all 10 strongholds. Shen Mo was one of a kind. As long as a saint-tier pill master had enough time and resources, he could nurture many more Dharma aspect realm cultivators. To the demon clan, that was an even greater threat. The principle Shen Mo followed now was, grow stronger in silence, don't invite trouble by standing out. Until he reached the Nirvana realm, he would avoid making waves that could provoke greater fear from the demon clan. In fact, he could already imagine, if word got out that he was a saint-tier alchemist, the demon clan would stop at nothing to assassinate him. The number 1 sky demon and Kang would likely strike personally. And at that point, no matter how strong he was, he couldn't fend off everything alone.
It's time to begin refining. I must break through to the peak of the Dharma aspect realm as quickly as possible.
Chapter 532, Peak of the Dharma Manifestation Realm. Time passed swiftly. In the blink of an eye, 2 years had gone by. Yi Yan was walking past Shen Mo's residence with a few demon suppression guards. Behind him, the guards were whispering among themselves.
General Shen hasn't left that courtyard in ages. Yeah, he didn't even show up at Commander Yi's celebration banquet. He's probably been cultivating the whole time. Still, skipping Commander Yi's celebration is a bit disrespectful. Exactly, they're both in the Dharma manifestation realm. What makes one more noble than the other?
Yi Yan heard their words and felt a twinge of satisfaction. 6 months ago, Zhu Xuanji had personally hosted a grand celebration for him at the Vermilion Bird Fortress. Every demon suppression fortress sent at least one general to attend. At that very banquet, Zhu Xuanji publicly announced him as the future lord of Vermilion Bird Fortress. All he needed now was enough military merit to be promoted to the rank of Earth General, and the title would be his in name and fact. Generals like Zhang Longxiang, Tang Jinglong, and Ao Qin all toasted him warmly, showing great approval for this promising junior. But Shen Mo didn't show up. That had left a lingering irritation in Yi Yan's heart. He had climbed step by step to become a heaven-rank demon suppression guard, finally stepping into the Dharma manifestation realm. Just a bit more military merit, and he would become a true demon suppression general. Why wouldn't Shen Mo even give him a glance? Did he still see him as that insignificant little commander from the past? But now half a year had passed, and Yi Yan's emotions had settled. He didn't care what others thought. He only cared about whether he could become stronger.
I'm surrounded by fortune and opportunities. I even got my hands on a treasure that lets me traverse the void. What do you have to compare with me?
Yi Yan smiled faintly and strode confidently past Shen Mo's courtyard with his trusted subordinates. Inside the courtyard, Shen Mo suddenly opened his eyes, a flash of brilliance shooting through them. He looked inward toward his divine palace. The 5 Dharma manifestations were now at their peak state. Their outlines were sharp and lifelike. It was as if, at any moment, they could break free from the walls, roar into the heavens, and overturn the universe. Peak of the Dharma manifestation realm. In just a year and a half, after refining 5 golden jade pellets, he had finally stepped into the peak of the Dharma manifestation realm. Faster than he had expected.
If not for the demon-suppressing thunderstone and molten gold mud that Zhu Xuanji sent me, my progress would never have been this rapid.
Shen Mo looked at the last remaining golden jade pellet and smiled.
This one, send it secretly to Zhang Longxiang. He's helped me so much. He deserves this gift.
Zhang Longxiang is resolute and unyielding. He'll be able to endure the pain of refining the golden jade pellet. Chapter 533, My name is Jai Qingxuan, the first human emperor of the nation.
That void shuttle.
Shen Mo muttered thoughtfully and retrieved the void shuttle from his storage ring. Obtaining this treasure had not been easy. Yi Yan had stumbled upon a spatial vortex by accident. Right when he discovered it, the void shuttle had been spat out from within. It didn't seem like a naturally formed treasure, nor an artifact left behind by some predecessor. It had simply been there, waiting for a destined person to claim it. Shen Mo had to wait for the right moment to intercept the void shuttle. Thus, he hadn't been in closed-door cultivation for the entire 2 years. First, he arranged through Zhu Xuanji for Yi Yan to undertake a task to search for rare materials, deliberately sending him away. Then he disguised himself and left the outpost, using the Qingxuan blood spirit light to locate the spatial vortex. He waited by the side for several days before the vortex finally spat out the void shuttle. At that time, pressed for time, he hadn't inspected it too carefully and simply tossed it into his storage ring before returning to his courtyard to continue cultivation. Now, as he looked at the void shuttle again, it looked utterly pitiful. It wasn't exactly gleaming and pristine. In fact, it was completely battered and worn. What had it gone through to end up in such a ruined state?
The void shuttle must be able to withstand the corrosion of void forces. It must have been eroded in the chaotic void currents for far too long to end up like this. To repair it, I'll need extremely rare materials. It definitely won't be possible in the short term. I'll need to keep an eye out.
Shen Mo knew that the Heavenly Dao Treasury had such materials. However, they were all at least high-grade heavenly rank. The military merits required were terrifyingly high. If he could find the materials himself, that would be best. If not, he could consider exchanging for them later.
The final thing to do is break through to the Nirvana realm.
For thousands of years, across the 10 demon suppression fortresses, not a single life form has reached nirvana.
Even records of the last person to shatter the void and ascend have been lost.
Shen Mo rubbed his forehead. This was what gave him the biggest headache. The divine thunder demon suppression scripture had already reached its peak. Fortunately, he still had the divine elephant prison suppressing strength. He couldn't enter nirvana through spiritual power. He had to attempt it through blood and vitality.
Currently, the divine elephant prison suppressing strength has reached the 7th level. Once I master the 8th and unlock 840 million giant elephant particles, I should be able to step into nirvana.
Shen Mo knew nothing about the nirvana realm. But one thing was certain: if he didn't step into it, he would undoubtedly die at the hands of the undying demon emperor.
Time waits for no one. Let's begin.
Shen Mo took out various rare materials from his storage ring. Earth Mother Crimson Ancient Syrup, Blackwater Profound Essence, Dragon Bone Blood Marrow.
I have awakened.
Chapter 534. Where are the 2 spiritual artifacts I prepared before my slumber? Qingxuan moved only slightly. Very quickly, he regained full control of his body. And along with it, his memories surged back like a tide.
My actions back then were indeed correct. Though the undying demon emperor died, his body was still brimming with boundless vitality. As long as the method is proper, it's entirely possible to use his body to restore my foundation, break through to a higher realm, and shatter the void to reach the greater world.
A smile appeared on Qingxuan's face. It was a smile full of age and ancient wisdom. He slowly raised his hand. In his flawless jade-like palm, he tightly gripped a token. The surface of the token was covered in cracks. When Qingxuan had accidentally found it within a spatial vortex long ago, it had merely been a collection of fragments. Only after years of searching and piecing them together did it finally become whole.
The personal disciple, token of the creation heaven sect.
Qingxuan's eyes were full of anticipation. Thousands of years ago, he was the human emperor of Jing Nation, and his strength had reached the Nirvana realm. In that battle, he personally killed the undying demon emperor. But he was also seriously injured, his foundation severely damaged. He would never forget the words the undying demon emperor had said to him.
Do you think that by killing me, the demon race will disappear completely? Wrong, utterly wrong. This place was once called the Ancient Province. But due to the war between gods and demons, the ancient province was shattered and fell into the void, drifting outside the greater world and becoming its own minor realm. I was merely a great demon emperor who accidentally fell into this minor realm during that divine war. Beyond the void lies the greater world. There are many realms like this one, and in all those realms the demon race has a presence. Qingxuan, your foundation has already been destroyed by me. You will never again comprehend the power of the void, nor will you ever cross it to reach the greater world. Countless years from now, my descendants will aid in my resurrection. By then, you'll be nothing more than bones rotting in a tomb.
Before Qingxuan's eyes, the arrogant smile of the undying demon emperor seemed to appear once more. He gave a faint smile.
Undying demon emperor, thank you for your gift. After your death, I used the great demon emperor's blood within you to reconstruct my body. My foundation is now flawless. And I also thank you for telling me so much. Otherwise, I never would have imagined that this world-boundless 8 desolates and vast 4 seas was actually just a minor realm. For hundreds of years, I conquered all directions, yet I was merely a frog at the bottom of a well.
Qingxuan let out several long breaths, gradually calming his emotions. He closed his eyes and sensed his surroundings.
Wait!
Chapter 535, Father Demon, You've Been Resurrected. Qingxuan pondered for a moment, attempting to communicate with the will of heaven. He had no idea what the outside world was like. So he had to gather information from the will of heaven. However, no matter how long he tried, he couldn't make contact with it.
The demonic aura here is too dense. It's isolating me from the will of heaven. Never mind, I can still sense it. I am still the heavens chosen of this world. The will of heaven still favors me. That alone is enough. The undying demon emperor's resurrection encountered some accidents, but with Nirvana realm strength, I can still sweep through this minor world.
Qingxuan smiled faintly. At that moment, he suddenly heard footsteps outside. Qingxuan extended his divine sense through a crevice to observe. With his Nirvana realm cultivation, he could easily see through the other party without being noticed.
A demon race member, peak demon emperor realm strength.
Qingxuan clearly saw the other party's appearance. A large heavy head with a long skinny body. He wasn't surprised. Back during their battle, he had already noticed that demons had extremely bizarre forms.
This demon has a trace of authority within him. His blood is very similar to the undying demon emperor's. He must be the undying demon emperor's posthumous child.
Qingxuan instantly deduced the other party's identity. When he had fought the undying demon emperor, the latter had personally said that a child still unborn resided within him. If that child could grow in the greater world, he would definitely become a future demon saint. Unfortunately, after the undying demon emperor was cast into this minor world, that potential was lost.
Father Demon and Joe is dead. I recovered his authority.
And Kang let out a soft sigh, holding a dark gray orb of light reverently in his hands. The light orb floated of its own accord into the body of the undying demon emperor. Hiding beneath the throne, Qingxuan instantly felt a surge of power coursing through him. With his sharp mind, he quickly understood the reason.
After the undying demon emperor's death, his power scattered, and some strong demons obtained portions of it. When they used that power to kill others, it would further strengthen the power itself. And when that power returned to the undying demon emperor's body, it would in turn nourish him.
Qingxuan smiled. He gently raised his hand. The massive body of the undying demon emperor twitched in response. And Kang had intended to leave, but at that moment his face filled with ecstasy.
Father Demon, you've been resurrected. I knew it, I knew you would definitely come back.
He looked upon the slowly rising hand of the undying demon emperor, with tears brimming in his eyes. A sense of familial warmth surged in his heart. Since the day he had appeared in this world, he had been alone. He had treated each of his
younger brothers
as true siblings, affectionately calling them second, third, and so on. Unfortunately, those brothers had always feared him. Now he finally had real kin. Buzz. Demonic energy from all directions surged toward the raised hand of the undying demon emperor. As a great demon emperor, even the smallest movement could draw in demonic energy from thousands of miles. This was the 9th level of the demon suppression sea, where the demonic energy was exceptionally pure. Even a single wisp from here surpassed thousands or tens of thousands from the first level. Thus, as demonic energy gathered, its power became even more terrifying. And Kang was filled with excitement.
Father Demon truly is powerful. He just resurrected and can already draw such overwhelming demonic energy.
Chapter 536, One Strike to Annihilate, and Kang, summoning the great heavenly demon. Boom! One strike, just a single strike. The oldest and most powerful first great heavenly demon, a demon at the peak of the Demon Emperor realm, was smashed into a pulp on the spot. And Kang had lived through an unimaginably long era. His body contained no less than 30 demon hearts. But how could a demon emperor ever compare to a great demon emperor? Moreover, Kang had no guard up at all against the undying demon emperor. He never imagined that the father demon he revered would actually strike to kill him. The massive hand of the undying demon emperor slowly rose again. And Kang had already been reduced to a puddle of flesh, smeared across the floor. Only a dark gray orb of light floated up and down. This orb was far larger than the one Kang had just offered, which belonged to Zhou. Though completely dark gray, it emitted a radiant glow that lit up every corner of the great hall. Qingxuan reached out and beckoned. The orb floated toward the undying demon emperor and merged into the body. In an instant, Qingxuan felt an explosive surge of energy within. The demonic aura was rapidly transforming into spiritual power.
What a pity! If I had been strong enough when I awakened, I wouldn't have needed to kill this great heavenly demon. He could have been useful. But now he had to die.
Qingxuan let out a quiet sigh. He was well aware that demons could increase their strength through slaughter. Now he could be considered half-demon himself, and could use this method to rapidly grow his power. Qingxuan also knew of a secret demonic technique called the
Soul-crossing void method.
It allowed one to traverse the void without comprehending void power. The price was a vast stockpile of living souls. These souls could be used to resist the corrosion of the void. Since he intended to travel to the greater world, then what must be done must be done. He had no sentimental attachment to this minor world. Thousands of years had passed, everything he once knew had changed. If the lives of this world could help him reach the greater world, then what harm was there in slaughtering them all?
Let the other great heavenly demons come too. I'll reclaim the power within them as well. This way, even with only entry-level Nirvana realm strength, I can rely on the remnants of the undying demon emperor's power to sweep this world.
Qingxuan nodded slightly. He controlled the undying demon emperor's body to let out a deafening roar. Roar! The sound echoed for tens of thousands of miles. Even the 6th level of the demon suppression sea could hear it clearly. Living beings trembled upon hearing it, as if confronted by a destined mortal enemy. But the demons were invigorated. They didn't know who had made the sound. But instinctively they felt their demon blood boiling, their demon hearts pounding. The one who let out that roar had to be someone great. Even the authority holders like Chen heard the roar. They instinctively felt a deep sense of closeness.
It's Father Demon. That sound came from the 9th level. It must mean Father Demon has been resurrected. Quick, we're going to the 9th level.
The authority holders rushed downward toward the 9th level. 9th level. All the great heavenly demons gathered beneath the body of the undying demon emperor. They looked up at their father demon with reverence. And Chen stood among them as well.
Where's Kang?
Chapter 537, The Lord of Authority Qi, The Great Defeat of the Demon Clan. And Chen felt an overwhelming sense of threat rising in his heart for no reason. No ordinary demon dared to approach the 9th layer. How could there be flesh pulp here? And Chen frowned and retreated quietly without a trace.
My.
The undying demon emperor struggled to open his mouth, uttering ancient and weary words. All the great heavenly demons stirred with excitement.
Father Demon!
The undying demon emperor had revived. The day to flat the 10 demon suppression fortresses was imminent. They were finally going to break free from this millennia-old prison. At the thought of this, they became wildly excited. The demon blood coursing through their bodies surged like a breaking dam.
Children!
The undying demon emperor's large hand suddenly rose and slammed down. And Chen's pupils sharply contracted. He had already sensed something was wrong, being the farthest from the undying demon emperor's body. Now he exerted all his might with demonic energy, even expending the essence blood of the demon emperor within him to perform a demonic martial technique. Even so, he was blasted away by the shockwave from the massive hand. His body was thrown hundreds of yards, deeply embedding into the rocky wall. And Chen gasped loudly, spitting out a large mouthful of purple-black demon blood, his expression utterly withered. He raised his eyes and looked toward the hall. The previously excited great heavenly demons had now all become a mass of flesh pulp on the ground. They had merged intimately and become one with the earth.
One escaped, clever.
Qingxuan raised an eyebrow. This demon was unusual. It had sensed the abnormality and escaped quickly. However, killing so many great heavenly demons and reclaiming so much power was already enough. Enough to make up for the undying demon emperor's lost strength. In this way, the undying demon emperor reached the realm of a great demon emperor. As for that escaped great heavenly demon, that was his concern. Qingxuan cared little for small gains and losses. And Chen took a long, deep look at the hall, then at the undying demon emperor who was slowly retracting his hand and staggered away. At this point, he had already guessed Kang's fate. The most mysterious, oldest, and strongest first great heavenly demon ultimately had died. Even dying at the hands of his own father demon.
The undying demon emperor wants to kill me. I cannot just wait to die. I must escape.
Chapter 538, Divine Elephant Prison Suppression Technique 8th Layer Advances to Nirvana Realm.
This reaction reminds me of a scene from the past. At that time, Chen and Feng jointly attacked the Qingxuan fortress. Feng died, and the demons under his command immediately suffered a sharp drop in morale and spirit.
Zhang Longxiang suddenly lowered his voice as he recalled something. Tang Jinglong nodded.
I have some impression of that. When a lord of authority dies, the demons under his command do indeed show such a situation.
Ao Qin frowned.
But the demons on the 6th layer do not all belong to the same lord of authority.
Bai Liaoyu chuckled.
I think there is one possibility, just one possibility. Could it be that all those lords of authority have died?
Zhu Xuanji rolled her eyes.
That's too unreasonable. As far as I know, whenever a lord of authority dies, the first great heavenly demon in Kang immediately recovers his authority power, and within a day or two appoints a new lord under his leadership. The possibility that all lords of authority die simultaneously is absolutely impossible.
Bai Liaoyu smiled awkwardly.
Xuanji, I'm just joking. Don't be so serious.
Zhu Xuanji gritted her teeth.
Don't call me Xuanji.
Tang Jinglong calmly said.
I suggest we launch a full assault immediately. No matter what happened among the demons, their decline in combat strength is ultimately beneficial to us. Now is the perfect opportunity.
Ao Guang shook his head.
I disagree. Who knows if this is a demon trap designed to confuse us? If we mobilize massive manpower and resources for a full assault, we might be walking right into the demon's hands.
Lang Ben and Yuan Tai immediately agreed, thinking Ao Guang's idea had merit. The 10 fortress lords began a new round of discussion. In the end, only one conclusion was reached. First, firmly control the 6th layer, establish outposts, and then plan gradually. Fortresses with spare strength could begin exploring the 7th layer first. These orders were immediately issued from top to bottom. Qingxuan 6-1 outpost. A courtyard. From the outside, it showed almost no change. No different from other courtyards. But appearances were deceptive. The formation had long concealed everything, leaking not a hint of abnormality. At this moment, inside this courtyard, the roar of ancient giant elephants thundered deafeningly. As if hundreds of millions of giant elephants crowded together, roaring across the universe. The spirit tools like Suixing and Haiyan trembled, not daring to speak.
You say, what kind of cultivation technique is the master practicing? I've seen Martial Ancestor practice, but the scene was never this grand and vast.
Haiyan could not help but ask. Suixing typed a line of text.
I.
The characters he typed shook with reverence. Roar! Shen Mo suddenly opened his eyes. He uncontrollably opened his mouth, emitting an ancient and majestic roar. At this moment his aura surged wildly upward, rushing toward the dome of the sky. Like a butterfly breaking free from its cocoon. In one breath, he broke through the bottleneck and stepped into the Nirvana realm.
Who?
The roaring gradually subsided. Layers upon layers of golden, ancient giant elephant phantoms fully retracted. The courtyard fell silent again. Only then did Suixing and Haiyan dare to approach Shen Mo's side. Shen Mo slowly clenched his fists, feeling the overwhelmingly powerful force flowing through his body. He revealed a genuine smile.
3 years, more than 1,000 days and nights, countless rare materials and treasures, finally awakened 840 million giant elephant particles, and perfected the divine elephant prison suppression technique 8th layer. Advanced.
Chapter 539, Void Heavenly Sound Sacred Technique Dharma Form and Tao Pattern. Shen Mo smiled. He had never before reached the Nirvana realm. Even the ancient texts recorded almost nothing about it. Because of this, he did not even know how his strength would change after entering the Nirvana realm.
This technique is very powerful.
Shen Mo closed his eyes to comprehend, nodding slightly. The technique he mastered with the Divine Elephant Prison Suppression Technique 8th layer was called
Void Heavenly Sound Sacred Technique.
This method was profound and ancient, consuming blood energy to activate sound. When used, countless blessings would come to oneself, and all matters would go smoothly. To opponents, it would reduce lifespan and vitality, cause life to flow away, misfortune to arise, and all affairs to go awry. Additionally, it released 3,000 beneficial auras to oneself and allies, and 3,000 negative auras to enemies and those hostile.
Oh, what's this?
Shen Mo looked at his divine palace and was stunned. The divine palace itself had no major changes. But above it, the blood summit showed an unexpected change. There was a primal elephant dharma manifestation atop the blood summit. At this moment, the primal elephant dharma manifestation revealed a brand new pattern. The pattern was profound and ancient, containing the ultimate principles of the Tao. Shen Mo stared at it closely for a moment, then felt dizzy and had to look away. He tried to activate the primal elephant dharma manifestation. Immediately, he sensed something different. Stronger. After this pattern appeared, the dharma manifestation's power increased in every aspect. From then on, when using dharma manifestation martial techniques, their strength would also surge significantly.
Could it be that the Nirvana realm requires condensing one pattern after another on the Dharma manifestation's surface?
Shen Mo pondered.
Then, where do these patterns come from?
The voice of the nine nether ice flame sounded unexpectedly.
Burned.
Shen Mo was taken aback.
Burned.
The nine nether ice flame replied calmly.
Burn with eternal flames to form the Tao patterns.
The higher the compatibility between the eternal flames and the Dharma manifestation, the faster the patterns form.
Conversely, low compatibility wastes effort and may degrade the Dharma manifestation, reducing strength instead of increasing it. This is the origin of the term nirvanata. Pass through means rebirth by fire and boundless strength. Fail and be burnt to ashes, doomed forever.
Hearing this, Shen Mo was immediately pleased. Eternal flames. There were countless flames in this world. There were ordinary flames from burning wood. Spiritual flames born of spirit stones. Ghost flames from burial grounds and shady tombs. Beast flames born in powerful demon beasts. Among all flames, extraordinary flames were undeniably the strongest. He possessed 3 extraordinary flames. Were they not the best choice to burn the Dharma manifestation? Shen Mo nodded firmly.
Good.
Suddenly, he changed the subject.
I don't usually see you so eager. Why are you suddenly telling me everything today?
The nine nether ice flame had existed for a long time. It was normal for it to know how to cultivate the Nirvana realm. But it hadn't said anything before, now it had. Clearly, it had some request. Sure enough, just after speaking, the nine nether ice flame began to hesitate. Its icy white flames started shifting toward pink.
I want demon hearts, more demon hearts. Also, the 100 refined fire spirit is useless to me now. I need the 1,000 refined fire spirit.
The nine nether ice flame lightly coughed. Shen Mo waved his hand.
No problem, but I don't keep freeloaders or rather idle flames. If you want demon hearts and the 1,000 refined fire spirit, you can't just do nothing.
The nine nether ice flame said seriously.
Give me at least 1,000 refined fire spirit and 1 demon emperor realm demon heart every month. I'll help you burn the primal elephant dharma manifestation 3 shifts a day.
Shen Mo shook his head.
Your demands are too high. Do you think all demon emperor realm demons just sit around like pigs waiting for me to kill them? And the time is too short, at least 10 shifts.
The flame reddened in anger.
Then 3 peak heaven true demon lord hearts. 10 shifts is too much, at most 5.
Chapter 540, How much do you know about Qingxuan? After finalizing the matter, Shen Mo smiled. That meant from now on he had an extra free laborer. As long as he provided enough food, it would diligently burn the primal elephant dharma manifestation every day without complaint.
Oh,
But after just a few steps, Shen Mo felt a piercing, bone-deep pain.
are you burning the dharma manifestation, or my nerves?
Shen Mo couldn't help but say. The nine nether ice flame lightly coughed.
There's something I forgot to tell you. Burning the Dharma manifestation is very painful.
So you might have to endure it.
After saying this, it immediately resumed burning. Shen Mo gritted his teeth in pain. The pain from burning the Dharma manifestation was comparable to that of refining the golden jade pellet. No wonder the nine nether ice flame sounded strange when Shen Mo asked to burn 10 shifts a day at first. Turns out it was because of this.
It's just pain, I can endure it.
Shen Mo clenched his teeth and paced back and forth in the courtyard. As he walked, he gradually adapted to the pain. In less than half a shift, he could walk and talk normally. If not looked at closely, one could not tell he was enduring the torment of having his Dharma manifestation burned.
Done, time to check the life panel.
Shen Mo exhaled deeply and looked at the life panel. Sure enough, after entering the Nirvana realm, his predetermined fate was completely gone. In its place were several recent events. Recent Event 1. Several days later, Zhang Longxiang and other Dharma Manifestation Realm experts arrived at the 9th layer of the Demon Suppression Sea, but were instantly killed by Qingxuan in one move. Shen Mo felt depressed upon hearing this news. He had a sudden inspiration from the
Void Annihilation, Demon Sword Immortal Scripture.
that could have helped him quickly master the 6th layer. But due to his low spirits and morale, he failed to comprehend it. Recent Event 2. Shen Mo took revenge for Zhang Longxiang and the others, journeying alone to the 9th layer of the Demon Suppression Sea to fight Qingxuan. The battle between Shen Mo and Qingxuan was evenly matched, both severely injured. Shen Mo lost his right arm, his Zaibeiju Dharma manifestation and Undying River Dharma manifestation were completely burned away. Qingxuan's Undying Demon Emperor body was damaged. Qingxuan ultimately escaped. Recent Event 3.
How much do you know about Qingxuan?
The nine nether ice flame was stunned.
Why do you suddenly ask about him?
Shen Mo said.
Just casually asking.
The nine nether ice flame replied.
Not much. I personally witnessed the peak battle between Qingxuan and the Undying Demon Emperor and have some impressions.
The Undying Demon Emperor died, but Qingxuan was seriously injured. Some say his foundation was destroyed by the Undying Demon Emperor.
Perhaps Qingxuan used some secret technique to sustain his life through the Undying Demon Emperor's body, preventing complete death. After all, demon bodies are extremely resilient, especially that of the Undying Demon Emperor. Though dead, his body still contained endless vitality. Shen Mo's eyes brightened. This explanation from the nine nether ice flame was quite plausible. Qingxuan was the first-generation human emperor of Jing Kingdom, powerful and with great achievements. Now he also had the undying demon emperor's body as combat power. No wonder Qingxuan could fight him evenly. Such strength was understandable. However, Shen Mo had already reached a bottleneck. It would be very difficult to improve further in a short time. Shen Mo murmured.
Is there any way to advance further? To advance further, eternal flames.
Chapter 541. Chapter 541 Nine Heavens Divine Thunder Flame Sky Island. Shen Mo raised an eyebrow. Eternal flame. Opportunities to obtain eternal flames in the demon suppression sea were rare. Relying on one's own chance to acquire an eternal flame was as difficult as ascending to heaven. Even someone like Yi Yan, with heaven-defying fortune, hadn't recently gained an eternal flame.
Nine Heavens Divine Thunder Flame, I know where it is.
Nine Nether Ice Flame said calmly. Shen Mo's interest immediately piqued. Nine Heavens Divine Thunder Flame.
Where?
Shen Mo pressed. Nine Nether Ice Flame didn't answer right away, but asked in return.
Do you know where the divine thunder in the demon suppression sea comes from?
Shen Mo instantly understood.
You mean?
He was slightly startled. If that was the case, the Nine Heavens Divine Thunder Flame must be incredibly powerful. Powerful enough that he himself would find it nearly impossible to tame. Nine Nether Ice Flame smiled.
Yes and no.
Our eternal flames each go through stages: flame-lit, flourishing flame, declining flame.
Over countless cycles, the eternal flame gradually grows stronger and eventually gains spiritual intelligence.
A declining flame means it is nearing death and decay.
But if at that time a massive external force is forcibly injected, it greatly prolongs the decay process. The current Nine Heavens Divine Thunder Flame is in such a state. The heavenly Tao will tirelessly inject vast external power into it day and night, preventing it from perishing completely.
As a result, its power becomes extraordinarily strong, and the flames it releases gradually mutate into divine thunder, capable of killing great heavenly demons. But this also prevents it from reincarnating, and its spiritual intelligence is completely sealed. Nine Nether Ice Flame sighed softly.
That old fellow probably lost all reason by now.
Shen Mo frowned deeper. Yet he also felt this was exactly something the heavenly Tao will would do.
How do we establish contact then?
Nine Nether Ice Flame said solemnly.
Let it perish completely, then be reborn anew. To put it simply, kill it first, then resurrect it.
Shen Mo clicked his tongue.
Is that how you treat the old fellow?
Nine Nether Ice Flame said casually.
We eternal flames don't have the same concept of life and death. Each death is actually the start of a new cycle.
I think it must want to escape this endless suffering as well.
Shen Mo nodded slightly.
Then why didn't you tell me earlier?
Nine Nether Ice Flame said.
Because you weren't Nirvana realm before, now you are. Killing it is easy, but making it revive quickly is difficult. Nirvana realm means Nirvana rebirth. How exactly to do it, leave it all to me. I guarantee you will tame the Nine Heavens Divine Thunder Flame.
Shen Mo nodded firmly.
Good.
Nine Nether Ice Flame had already fused with his mind, forming a contract. Naturally trustworthy. Nine Nether Ice Flame continued.
There are many small islands on the surface of the Demon Suppression Sea. One of these islands has a teleportation array underground. Through that array, you will appear on a sky island.
It is barren, filled with thunder, the lair of the Nine Heavens Divine Thunder Flame.
Shen Mo nodded.
All right, no time to waste. I'll go now.
Chapter 542. Chapter 542. Do you still remember me, old friend? Shen Mo raised an eyebrow.
The dust accumulated here is thicker than an adult's calf.
He observed as he examined the formation closely, growing even more surprised.
The formation patterns are far older than any teleportation array I've seen before.
Clearly, Nine Nether Ice Flame had been right. This teleportation array must have been established during the early period of the Jing Kingdom. Shen Mo took out dozens of top-grade spirit stones and placed them into the various formation nodes, gradually activating the array. This formation was far too ancient, and the activation process was quite complicated, but in the end, it was successfully activated. A shimmering blue light blossomed forth. Shen Mo braced himself, his whole body tense, and stepped onto the teleportation array. After a dizzying swirl, the scene before him gradually cleared. Around him it was pitch black. Occasionally, thunder cracked through the darkness. The glowing blue light emitted by the teleportation array behind Shen Mo was one of the few stable sources of light. Using this light, he slowly made out the surroundings. As Nine Nether Ice Flame had said, this place was located at an extremely high altitude, a sky island. It seemed to have been forcibly pulled from the demon suppression sea by the heavenly Tao Will's great power, suspended in the sky. Shen Mo could even see signs of sea creatures like conch and starfish fossilized in the rocks. Looking downward, relying on his sharp eyesight, he could barely make out a vast black sea below. That was the demon suppression sea. The grand towering walls around it were the 10 demon suppression fortresses.
I never imagined such a place existed above the demon suppression sea.
Shen Mo clicked his tongue in amazement. If Nine Nether Ice Flame hadn't mentioned it, he wouldn't have guessed that above their heads hovered such a huge sky island. The divine thunder originated from here. Shen Mo looked toward the west, where a faint glow was visible. On guard, he quickened his pace toward it. Soon the light grew intense. His entire field of vision was filled with bright thunderlight. He saw countless golden lightning bolts leaping like dragons and serpents, crackling and snapping, as if they were about to shatter this entire space. At the center of these golden bolts was a silently burning dark golden flame. For some reason, Shen Mo could sense a trace of decay and madness emanating from that dark golden flame. It wished to die but could not. Having wasted countless years here, even an eternal flame, such a divine treasure, would gradually go mad. Sensing the unfamiliar aura, the dark golden flame suddenly trembled. The surrounding golden lightning surged toward Shen Mo in unison, enveloping him in an instant. It was like countless swords, spears, and halberds pressing against his neck. Shen Mo's skin prickled painfully. Every hair on his body stood on end. A proud Nirvana realm expert like Shen Mo could still feel threatened here. If it were a Dharma manifestation realm cultivator instead, they might be crushed by the residual might of the 9 heavens' divine thunder flame before the golden lightning even fully enveloped their body. Shen Mo said calmly,
It's your turn.
9 Nether Ice Flame hummed, flames blazing forth from its palm. As the icy white flames appeared, the surrounding golden lightning immediately retreated. The dark golden flame trembled slightly. Memories sealed for thousands of years seemed to peel away like layers of an onion. Shen Mo tensed his whole body, clenching every life-preserving technique he had. 9 Nether Ice Flame was confident, but it also prepared for the possibility that the 9 heavens' divine thunder flame might completely lose control. Before doing anything, one must always prepare for the worst. This was Shen Mo's consistent principle.
Do you still remember me, old friend?
Chapter 543, Chapter 543 Take my advice, let's die first. The 9 heavens' divine thunder flame struggled hard to speak. But in the end, it couldn't form normal words. Only a few hoarse, unpleasant sounds emerged. They didn't resemble human speech, but instead sent chills down the spine. 9 Nether Ice Flame casually said,
All right, if you can't speak properly, then don't speak. You don't have much sanity left. Take my advice, old friend, let's die first.
Shen Mo clicked his tongue in disbelief.
Let's die first.
Does that even sound like something a person would say? Whimpering came from within the 9 heavens' divine thunder flame. The next moment, Shen Mo sensed a tremendous crisis rising. Without hesitation, he instantly flashed backward, putting distance between himself and the danger. 9 Nether Ice Flame also sensed the threat and immediately returned to Shen Mo's body. Boom! A huge black shadow crashed down from the sky, smashing the ground where Shen Mo had just stood into a deep crater. Keep in mind, the rocks here had been tempered by divine thunder, making them incredibly hard. Even a full-strength strike from a Dharma manifestation realm cultivator couldn't cleave a stone here. But this black shadow could crush the ground deeply, showing terrifying brute strength. Buzz! The 9 Heavens divine thunder flame suddenly erupted with lightning, illuminating the surroundings brilliantly. Using the lightning's glow, Shen Mo saw the figure clearly. It was a massive giant ape. Its body was like a small mountain. Muscles were as rugged as jagged rocks. Its skin was like golden iron, reflecting cold light under the thunder. It stood at least 300 zhang tall. Compared to it, Shen Mo looked like an ant.
Star-picking ape. But it's already dead.
Shen Mo recognized the giant ape immediately. The star-picking ape was an ancient rare beast. The legend of it plucking stars from the sky was a myth. But ripping a small mountain with its hands and smashing it down like a meteor was easily within its power. However, this star-picking ape was clearly dead. Its eyes were hollow and lifeless, showing signs of death. It was likely the final guardian placed here by the heavenly Tao will to protect the 9 Heavens divine thunder flame. A 9th-rank demon beast, equivalent to a Nirvana realm powerhouse. Its flesh and skin have been tempered by the 9 Heavens divine thunder flame for thousands of years, making it incredibly tough. Not an easy opponent. 9 Nether Ice Flame whispered. Shen Mo smiled.
If I can't even deal with a dead beast like this, then there's no need to tame the 9 Heavens divine thunder flame.
Chapter 544. Chapter 544. Just hit directly strike the core with all your might.
Now we can start killing it.
9 Nether Ice Flame appeared once more, speaking calmly. Shen Mo clicked his tongue.
How do we kill it?
9 Nether Ice Flame replied.
Just hit it directly, aim for the core, and strike it to death.
After saying this, it formed a hand shape pointing at the core of the 9 Heavens divine thunder flame. Shen Mo looked puzzled but said,
All right.
With his powerful martial techniques, hitting a fixed target like the 9 Heavens divine thunder flame would be simple.
Old fellow, bear with it, don't resist.
9 Nether Ice Flame whispered. The 9 Heavens divine thunder flame's light flickered several times, signaling acknowledgement. Shen Mo immediately activated his warrior chief Dharma manifestation, the dual-colored eternal flames swirling as he unleashed the great wild starfall. Bang! The dual-colored eternal flame giant spear struck down. The flame's glow dimmed slightly but brightened again after a moment. 9 Nether Ice Flame said,
Keep going, its energy is very abundant now. This will take a long time.
Shen Mo nodded slightly and continued releasing powerful martial techniques. His blood energy and spirit power were abundant, requiring no pause for recovery. Still, he hadn't expected that, even though the 9 Heavens divine thunder flame's remaining sanity controlled it from counterattacking, it would take him an entire day to strike this fixed target. After a whole day, the brightness of the 9 Heavens divine thunder flame finally dropped to its lowest. Shen Mo exhaled deeply, smiling wryly. For the first time, he felt like a laborer. However, when he looked at the flame, his smile grew. The hard work was worthwhile. Now, the 9 Heavens divine thunder flame was like a dying candle in the wind, seeming to flicker out even with the slightest breeze. Even Shen Mo's hurried footsteps could snuff out this remaining spark. 9 Nether Ice Flame said seriously.
You are Nirvana realm. This next step depends on you.
Shen Mo rolled his eyes.
Which step before didn't depend on me?
9 Nether Ice Flame smiled awkwardly.
This one is the most important.
Soon, the 9 Heavens divine thunder flame will extinguish, leaving only a seed of fire.
You must guide the flame seed into the divine palace, nurturing it with your vast Nirvana realm blood energy. This process will be painful.
9 Nether Ice Flame coughed lightly.
Because you have to swallow it.
Chapter 545. Chapter 545 That someone, let's quickly swear allegiance. I can't wait any longer. Pain, pain, pain. The intense pain made Shen Mo almost unable to focus. However, after a brief sharp pain, his mind gradually stabilized.
Yes, I must guide the fire seed to the divine palace and nurture it with my nirvana realm blood energy.
Immediately, Shen Mo activated his blood energy to envelop the fire seed and transported it toward the divine palace. Several more hours passed before the fire seed successfully arrived at the divine palace. At that moment, all the burning sensations vanished without a trace. Shen Mo had never felt so comfortable and light throughout his body. It was as if all 36,000 pores across his body were releasing heat outward. Inside the divine palace, the red lotus flame and solar essence flame both looked at the fire seed with curiosity. Their instincts told them this was a kindred spirit.
Now comes the final step, nurturing. No matter how much blood energy it consumes, it cannot stop until it reignites.
Nine Nether Ice Flame said seriously.
All right.
Shen Mo nodded. He summoned all his blood energy to surge toward the divine palace. Buzzing, the blood energy rushed like mighty rivers, converging into the divine palace and charging toward the fire seed. Yet the fire seed was like a massive sponge. No matter how much blood energy was poured in, there was no reaction at all. It was like a bottomless pit. Shen Mo did not hesitate or waver, continuously injecting blood energy. When the blood energy was depleted, he consumed heavenly materials, spiritual pills, and elixirs to quickly regenerate blood energy. After all, Nine Heaven's divine thunder flame was an eternal flame, unique celestial treasure. Even the heavenly Tao treasury could not exchange for such a flame. This demonstrated how extraordinarily rare and unparalleled it was. To forcibly awaken and reignite such a flame beyond the normal cycle of reincarnation, without an enormous amount of energy, it was simply impossible. Shen Mo had been mentally prepared for all this. Several more hours passed. Shen Mo was continuously channeling blood energy into the fire seed. Finally, at one moment, the fire seed cracked like an eggshell. The appearance of the crack brought joy to both Shen Mo and Nine Nether Ice Flame. Shen Mo immediately increased the speed. Sure enough, the cracks multiplied. Soon they spread across the surface of the fire seed like a spider's web. Clearly, the blood energy had reached a critical mass, and a qualitative change was occurring.
Just one final push.
Shen Mo grabbed several jade bottles and poured all the pills into his mouth at once like eating beans. His stomach felt like a huge furnace, quickly refining the pills into pure blood energy and injecting it into the fire seed. Crack! Golden light burst forth. With a bang, the fire seed's outer shell shattered piece by piece. A pure golden flame quietly burned inside. It was only the size of a grain of rice, tiny and cute. Yet it radiated an overwhelming and majestic power. The red lotus flame and solar essence flame felt the ancient pressure and involuntarily retreated. Only Nine Nether Ice Flame stepped forward immediately.
Old thing, we finally meet again.
Shen Mo was also deeply moved. Nine Nether Ice Flame and Nine Heaven's divine thunder flame had probably accompanied the living beings back then, fighting fiercely against demons, comrades in arms shoulder to shoulder. Now reunited after a long separation, there must be thousands of words to say. Even Shen Mo was moved. Suddenly, a crisp voice came from the reborn Nine Heaven's divine thunder flame.
Who the hell do you call old thing?
Now I'm the little girl, you're the old thing.
Nine Nether Ice Flame.
That someone, let's quickly swear allegiance. I can't wait any longer.
Nine Heaven's divine thunder flame added. Chapter 546. Chapter 546 Returning to Qingxuan Fortress after many years.
Is it done?
Shen Mo sensed the newborn consciousness at the other end of his mind and looked at the tiny golden flame in the deep palace. It all felt somewhat surreal. The process had gone too smoothly. So smoothly it was almost unbelievable.
That old fellow is eager for someone to help him escape his suffering. Now that we've arrived, he must be thrilled. Besides, you're the only one capable of reaching this step.
9 Nether Ice Flame saw through his thoughts and quickly said. Shen Mo nodded slightly. That was true. 10 demon suppression fortresses, hundreds of thousands of demon suppression guards, and now he was the only Nirvana realm cultivator. Only he met the conditions. When all conditions aligned, taming the 9 heavens' divine thunder flame was naturally inevitable.
Let's go, it's time to end this. There's one final trump card I've prepared in Qingxuan Fortress.
Shen Mo glanced once more at the dark and gloomy Sky Island before stepping into the teleportation formation and returning to the Demon Suppression Sea. As soon as he arrived at Qingxuan Fortress, it had restored to its former appearance. He had barely taken a few steps when whispers among the Demon Suppression guards arose.
What exactly happened? Why did the divine thunder that usually strikes midair disappear mysteriously? Yeah, it's strange. The divine thunder strikes every few days. Why did it stop abruptly today? Fortunately, the demons have retreated. Otherwise, with the thunder gone, we'd have suffered huge losses.
Listening to these murmurs, Shen Mo smiled faintly. Taming the 9 heavens' divine thunder flame caused the divine thunder that once loomed over the demon suppression sea to vanish without a trace. His arrival drew the attention of the demon suppression guards. They all showed reverence. Even from afar, they bowed respectfully.
General Shen Mo. Greetings, General Shen Mo. General Shen Mo, why have you returned to the fortress?
A commander hurried over and approached Shen Mo. Shen Mo smiled and nodded.
I'm here to see General Zhang.
The commander nodded repeatedly. General Zhang has been in the armory lately. I'll take you there. Shen Mo waved him off.
No need, I know my way.
Moments later, Shen Mo arrived at the armory of Qingxuan Fortress. Since Shen Mo made a name for himself by crafting numerous cloud ships here, the armory had become a highly sought-after department within the fortress. Many demon suppression guards strained their necks just to get into the armory. Consequently, the armory thrived. Even the guards at the door were formidable. 2 young guards stood watch. Judging by their yellow-tier uniforms, they were newly selected from the fortress's rear city. They did not recognize Shen Mo. Seeing him approach, they immediately stopped him. The tall, slim youth on the left said,
Hey, this is the armory. No unauthorized persons allowed.
Shen Mo smiled.
I'm here to pick up something.
The sturdy youth on the right frowned.
Pick up something what? Where's your pass token?
The armory held important military equipment. If tampered with, the consequences could be disastrous. Zhang Longxiang had already set the rule: no pass token, no entry. At that moment, a figure leapt out from behind the rusty iron gate. The 2 guards quickly saluted.
Sergeant Li.
The dark-complexioned youth nodded slightly and was about to speak when he spotted Shen Mo. He froze briefly, then his face lit up with joy.
Brother!
Chapter 547. Chapter 547, the armory's old tradition of taking the unconventional still remains. Shen Mo smiled faintly.
Haitin, long time no see.
The other was Li Haitin, who had worked with Shen Mo in the armory back then. Later, Shen Mo was stationed deep in the Demon Suppression Sea, so they rarely met. Li Haitin's eyes instantly reddened.
Brother Mo, is it really you? I haven't seen you in so long, I almost forgot what you look like.
Shen Mo chuckled.
Come on, let's go inside and talk. The armory's old tradition of taking the unconventional still remains, hasn't disappeared.
Li Haitin nodded emphatically.
Of course.
The 2 leapt over the large iron gate. The 2 guards at the entrance stared in disbelief. What the? Brother Mo. Who else could Li Haitin call Brother Mo? It had to be Shen Mo, General Shen. The tall, thin youth lamented.
It's actually General Shen. Damn, I called him an outsider and stopped him from entering the armory.
The sturdy youth comforted him.
With General Shen's status, he wouldn't make things difficult for us. Don't worry.
The tall youth sighed.
Still, I never expected General Shen to be so approachable, no airs of a realm fa manifested expert at all. Yeah, it feels like he's truly down to earth. Definitely because his strength far surpasses ours.
The sturdy youth nodded. Inside the armory, the floor was smooth and spacious, with no sign of wear or damage. The square bustled with activity as people came and went. Whenever they saw Li Haitan, they respectfully bowed and called out.
Sergeant Lee!
At the same time, many glanced curiously at the unfamiliar youth beside him. They wondered how Sergeant Lei could bring a stranger into the armory. That was against the rules. At that moment, a youth hurried over to Li Haitan and respectfully said,
Sergeant Lee, Sergeant Wu requests your presence. The big guy is ready, he needs your inspection.
Li Haitan nodded.
All right, I'm coming.
He excitedly said.
Brother Mo, come, I want to show you what we've accomplished.
Shen Mo smiled.
Good, remembering my instructions is always a good thing.
Li Haitan chuckled proudly.
Of course, you gave the blueprints for the big guy to me and old Wu. The key parts were also crafted by you and sent over. Old Wu and I just assembled the pieces. Besides, this big guy is far larger and more powerful than any equipment we've made before. Being one of its creators makes old Wu and me incredibly proud.
Shen Mo laughed heartily.
Come on, let me see if your armory skills have improved after all these years apart.
Chapter 548. Chapter 548. Do you know who he is? Chapter 548. Do you know who he is? A one-eyed company commander saw the scene from afar and immediately shouted.
Hey, Li Haitan, we won't say much about you and Wu Zhanian going in, but how can you break the rules by bringing a stranger inside?
Nearby, a burly company commander grumbled.
Yeah, General Zhang personally said that only those with his handwritten pass can enter. This person has no pass, he can't go in.
They looked at the demon suppression guards nearby their subordinates. With just a glance, the guards understood and loudly shouted.
Yeah, bringing outsiders into the armory breaks the rules. Now you want to bring someone into the grade A warehouse, that's outright forbidden. Sergeant Lee, you usually follow the rules, why break them today? We urge Sergeant Lee to stop this behavior, or we'll have to report to General Zhang.
Shen Mo observed the expressions of the leading commanders and listened to their words, immediately understanding most of the situation. However, he said nothing and calmly smiled. Such trivial matters didn't require his words. Li Haitan was stunned and asked.
Do you know who he is?
The one-eyed commander sneered.
No one is allowed. Even if he's General Zhang's son, it doesn't matter.
The burly commander said seriously.
Rules are rules, they can't be broken.
Bang! The big gate opened a crack. Wu Zhanian stepped out frowning.
What's all the fuss? Can't we get any work done?
Seeing Li Haitan, he said immediately.
Haitan, come quickly. This big guy is already in the final stage, he's waiting for your inspection. We must finish before General Shen Mo's deadline.
Before he could finish, he saw Shen Mo beside Li Haitan. After many years, Shen Mo's face hadn't changed at all. His eyes widened instantly.
General!
He shouted, disbelief filling his tone. At his shout, the one-eyed commander, the burly commander, and the rowdy demon suppression guards all froze. General Shen. How many Shen generals are there at Qingxuan Fortress? Only one Shen Mo. Zhang Longxiang had publicly announced that if anything happened to him, Shen Mo could immediately take over Qingxuan Fortress as its new commander. But Shen Mo had long been stationed deep in the demon suppression sea, unseen. Many tried to curry favor with Shen Mo but failed to find him. Now they actually saw him. The one-eyed and burly commanders stammered on the spot.
General Shen.
Shen Mo smiled.
Gentlemen, I do not have General Zhang's handwritten pass. I only have my own identity token.
He took out his demon suppression general's token and casually waved it.
Can I go in now?
The two commanders nodded vigorously.
Yes, of course.
Qingxuan Fortress will be yours from now on. What place won't you be able to enter? They watched Shen Mo, Li Haitan, and Wu Zhanian enter the grade A warehouse, swallowing nervously. The surrounding demon suppression guards exchanged glances.
Oh, what a nice day. I'm hungry, let's get some food. So thirsty, I want some wine.
One by one, they made excuses and vanished without a trace. Only the one-eyed and burly commander stood there, unable to move forward or retreat.
Brother, let's apologize after General Shen Mo comes out.
The one-eyed commander said miserably. The burly commander covered his face.
I have no face left to stay at Qingxuan Fortress.
You think I do?
Chapter 549. Chapter 549, Brother Mo has an absurd number of supreme spirit stones. Inside the Great warehouse, a massive object came into view. Its appearance was similar to the Flame Flood cloudship and the giant Qiu cloudship. But the size difference was huge. Its length was at least over 2,000 zhang. The width was also more than 500 zhang. Li Haitan grinned.
Brother Mo, we never forgot your instructions.
Wu Zhanian gently stroked the gigantic cloudship and said softly,
In my entire life, I never imagined I would get to take part in the creation of such a divine artifact.
General Shen, my life is worth it.
Shen Mo smiled.
That's all it takes for you to feel fulfilled. Aren't you going to build even more formidable armaments in the future?
Wu Zhanian and Li Haitan froze.
There's more.
Shen Mo chuckled.
Of course, but for now, let's focus on this soaring dragon cloudship.
This was the soaring dragon cloudship. Previously, work couldn't begin due to a lack of various rare materials and treasures. All these years, whenever Shen Mo had spare time from his cultivation, he would work on crafting the core components of the soaring dragon cloudship. He would then send them, through trusted demon suppression guards, to the Qingxuan Fortress, handing them to Li Haitan and Wu Zhanian. The two of them took on the task of forging the simpler parts of the soaring dragon cloudship. In total, it took 3 years to complete the project. Of course, the soaring dragon cloudship in front of them was still just an empty shell. It was like a mobile fortress, imposing in appearance but not yet possessing much fighting power. Only once it was filled with crew members could it unleash its true strength.
How many flame flood cloudships and giant Qiu cloudships are prepared?
Shen Mo asked. Li Haitan held up one hand.
We've got 5 of each, not the weaker versions sold to other fortresses but the full versions.
Wu Zhanian added softly.
As for lower-grade Black Eagle cloudships and Snow Sculpture cloudships, we've made plenty as well. It's enough to fully outfit the soaring dragon cloudship.
Shen Mo smiled.
Good, that makes the soaring dragon cloudship complete. You've heard about the current state of the demons, right?
Li Haitan nodded.
I heard their morale collapsed. Killing them is like cutting down straw.
Wu Zhanian followed.
I've heard about it too. What exactly happened?
Shen Mo nodded.
That's more or less it. Their leader must have had something happen which led to a collapse in the demons' morale. If things continue like this, our final battle with the demons will erupt very soon. But the fight might not happen at sea, but in the depths of the demon suppression sea. So, we need to have the teleportation arrays prepared. For something as massive as the soaring dragon cloudship to pass through a teleportation array, it will require an enormous amount of supreme spirit stones.
Shen Mo took out a storage ring and tossed it over.
The supreme spirit stones you have definitely aren't enough. The ones in this ring should cover it.
Li Haitan caught it, opened it up, and was almost blinded by the shine. Inside, the supreme spirit stones were piled up like a small mountain.
No, this is too much. If you give it all to us, what will you do, Brother Mo?
He hurried to shove the ring back, wanting to refuse. Shen Mo chuckled.
I've got 6 storage rings like this.
Li Haitan and Wu Zhanian exchanged a glance and clicked their tongues in amazement. Ziggs.
Hold onto it. I'm going to find General Zhang.
Chapter 550. Chapter 550. General Zhang trusts me. Fortress Tower. Shen Mo once again met with Zhang Longxiang. After so many years, the general of Qingxuan Fortress now had temples completely covered in silver. Shen Mo suddenly recalled the first time he met Zhang Longxiang. Back then, this senior had still been full of youthful vigor. But in just a few years, he had changed so much. For a cultivator at the Dharma manifestation realm, appearance was no longer an issue. As long as they had lifespan left, they could maintain whatever appearance they liked. If they appeared aged, it was either by choice or because their strength had declined and they could no longer keep up appearances. Zhang Longxiang's change began after that joint assault on Qingxuan Fortress by Yin Chen and Yin Feng. Zhang Longxiang had used himself as bait, drawing Yin Feng to strike in person. 8 flame flood cloud ships surrounded and attacked, nearly killing Yin Feng. The hidden injuries Zhang Longxiang carried were left behind from that time. After that, his condition kept worsening, and he was no longer at his peak. Shen Mo knew all this well. That was why he respected Zhang Longxiang so much. This plain-looking senior had protected him and protected this fortress so many times.
Mo, what brings you here?
Zhang Longxiang was busy handling endless documents. He didn't react until Shen Mo walked up to the desk, showing a hint of surprise. Shen Mo smiled.
The demons are on the verge of collapse, and you all want to know what's happened. I'm guessing you plan to go check the 9th level together.
Zhang Longxiang smiled and nodded.
You're as sharp as ever. That's right, I've already talked with General Bai Liaoyu, General Tang Jinglong, General Ao Qin, and the others. We're all going to the 9th level to see what's really going on. The sudden collapse of the demons has taken us all by surprise.
Shen Mo gave a slight nod.
I want to go too.
Zhang Longxiang was startled, then immediately shook his head.
No, the 9th level is too dangerous. You're still young, there's no need to take that risk.
Shen Mo smiled.
Don't refuse me so quickly. Let me give you something first.
He pulled out a jade bottle and handed it over.
A pill.
Zhang Longxiang was surprised.
You want to heal my injuries? That's too difficult. I've redeemed quite a few elixirs from the Heavenly Tao Treasury, but none of them worked well.
Unless it's a saint pill, but saint pills are too expensive, and I need my battle merits for other things.
Shen Mo chuckled.
This pill was refined by me, not redeemed from the Heavenly Tao Treasury.
Zhang Longxiang froze and pulled out the stopper to sniff lightly. His expression stiffened at once. Then his eyes widened.
A saint pill. You can refine saint pills.
Zhang Longxiang's face broke into irrepressible joy. Shen Mo nodded with a smile.
Jinyu Nirvana pellet, saint-grade pill. I refined it not long ago.
Hearing Shen Mo admit it himself, Zhang Longxiang looked even happier. He never expected Shen Mo could actually refine saint-grade pills. It was a huge shock.
If you can refine saint-grade pills, then you really shouldn't go to the 9th level. As long as you stay alive, you can keep refining saint pills, and in time, more Dharma manifestation realm experts will emerge because of you.
Zhang Longxiang said solemnly. Shen Mo smiled.
Guess how many Jinyu Nirvana pellets I've refined, and how many I've taken myself.
Zhang Longxiang's eyebrow rose. He seemed to realize something, but the thought was so wild he didn't dare voice it. Shen Mo said seriously.
It's because I'm prepared that I want to go with you to the 9th level. Think about it, what could possibly wipe out all the sovereigns? It has to be the appearance of a being far stronger than them.
He looked into Zhang Longxiang's eyes.
General Zhang, trust me.
Zhang Longxiang was silent for a long time before he finally spoke slowly.
All right, I trust you.